Dangerous line of storms. Right now, portions of Iowa, Johnson, Louisa, and Washington County are under a tornado warning for an observed tornado near the Kelowna and Wellman areas that's tracking off to the northeast. But this line itself is tracking off to the east here at a pretty good clip at about 55 miles per hour, so almost highway speeds. So we're going to put a track on this line of storms. We're going to extend this out across the Mississippi River because, again, this whole entire line is likely going to be warned as it continues to plow to the east. So Mount Pleasant, you have about 8 minutes or so to find your shelter place. Get in there right now. That'll be about 7:09. 7:19 in Muscatine. Durant, it'll be in your neck of the woods at 7:28. Buffalo, 7:36. The Quad Cities Metro at 7:47. 8:02 in Joslyn and just about 8:10 in Clinton. Don't wait for these times to take shelter. Don't go outside and look to the west to see if the clouds are dark. This is a dangerous line of storms, and it's moving very quickly off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. And these are capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds as well as perhaps quarter-size hail. But certainly the winds are the main issue. And then let's go ahead and zoom into this storm here in Johnson County where we have that tornado warning. Again, near the Kelowna and Wellman area, that's where we saw that tornado. That's likely just to the west of Iowa City. And we have a couple of tornado signatures here along this line. So that's what we're concerned about along the leading edge of this line is that potential for a tornado. So I think most concern right now would be right here just to the north and east of Iowa City. They're right along Interstate 80 or just to the north. That's where we do have that potential for that tornado. And again, we've got the inflow coming in right here. So this is where we're getting the rotation here with the winds going to and away from the radar site in Davenport. So this is a very serious situation as this has had a history of producing a tornado in portions of Johnson County. Kyle, where's that tornado warning?
We got a new tornado warning here. This is going to take it into parts of, let's see here. We've got Muscatine County. We've got also Cedar County now under this tornado warning. This just came in here. We're working to get information on that.
It also includes Rock Island County as well.
Yes.
So I would fully expect everybody to hear your sirens go off here shortly.
Again, this is a tornado warning for that confirmed tornado that we were tracking here in Johnson County.
All right, so if you are in these areas, you need to seek shelter right now. Do not wait for things to really start to get a little noisy outside because, again, this line is going to be moving very quickly. It's got a lot of lightning associated with it as well. So there is that new warning right now. This goes until 7:45. This is for hail up to the size of quarters or larger, and this is, again, including portions of Cedar, Johnson, Jones, Lynn, Muscatine, and southwestern portions of Rock Island County. So this is going to be for that storm that has had a history of producing a tornado here off to our west. So Conesville, Columbus Junction, that's where we are going to likely be getting up to 60 to 70 mile per hour winds along this. Looks like we might have maybe a little bit of additional rotation there just to the east of Lone Tree. You'll notice the wind velocity, that possibility of up to 74 mile per hour winds. That's likely a little higher up on the radar, but down to the surface, it's likely about 60 miles per hour. So along this leading edge, this is where we are going to see the strongest winds. And again, we got a couple of kinks in there of rotation, and that's where we could get a quick tornado or perhaps maybe a stronger tornado out of this as well. So if you are in Tipton, Wilton, Muscatine, down toward Columbus Junction, heading into Edgington as you cross the river in Illinois, you want to seek shelter. Even in the immediate Quad Cities, this is not in effect for the metro area, but very soon we are going to be seeing that warning be extended because, again, this line of storms is continuing to move very quickly here to the east at 55 miles per hour. We're on an hour loop here, and you can see that these were just outside of Johnson and Washington County about an hour ago, and now they're already entering portions of Louisa and Muscatine County. So this does not give you a lot of time to react. Notice that line has been warned all the way up towards Cedar Rapids and Anamosa. So this entire line is going to move through the entire TV6 viewing area. So we're going to be with you here every step of the way. Again, we've had a history of a tornado being reported around the Kelowna and Wellman areas. Is there still an observed tornado on that one?
They took the observed tag off, but there still is a very strong indication of circulation near Iowa City. But as you mentioned, Kyle, too, and I know Kevin has been pointing out, is these kinks in this line. This is the typical quasi-linear where it looks like it's a line, but you get these little inflow notches to form. And right here, just to the west of West Liberty, I'll point this out real quick as Kyle's checking some information, but right here, we get these little notches to form, and that's where you get those spin-up tornadoes. You get winds to move inside and kind of that coupling effect. And I'm sure if we take a look at that velocity, that will show that we might have some inflow going into these storms. But every update, every scan, we're getting some good fast data here, and that's thanks to First Alert Doppler radar.
And Kyle, just to the southeast of Lone Tree, we do have a tornado that's being reported right now.
That's where we're
a tornado debris signature. Yep. So right there east of Lone Tree. So this is now into western Muscatine County. We have a tornado that is doing damage right now just to the south of West Liberty, and right about there is where we do have that debris signature here on radar. So just to the east of Lone Tree is where we do have an observed tornado right now doing damage. And again, this is moving off to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So right around Nichols, this is where that tornado is, just to the west here. What we're looking at is the debris signature, and what radar is doing is looking for anything that is not precipitation. So we look for the off colors, we look for the whites and the blues here on the debris detector, and that's where we're seeing it just a little bit just to the west of Nichols, east of Lone Tree. That's where we have that tornado on the ground. So Nichols, it's over you right about now. At Alyssa, take shelter right now. 717, Moscow 721. Wilton 724, Durant 730, Walcott, this tornado will be close to you right around 736. So now is the time to take action. Again, this is moving very quickly at about 55 miles per hour. You're not going to be able to see this tornado. It's still a little dark now that we're just getting towards sunrise, so we don't want you to go out there. What we're seeing right here are tornado vortex signatures. This is where we do have the strongest rotation, and again, it's right along the leading edge of this line of storms, and it is heading toward the Quad Cities. So if you are in the Quad Cities metro right now, you need to be alert that this storm system is going to be heading your way. So there we go. We got that observed tornado. Hail is possibly up to ping pong ball size as well, but it's really the tornado threat that is most concerning right now, right around the Lone Tree and Nichols area, heading off to the east. And I think that individual tornado is moving off to the northeast as well. So again, the line itself moving east, the tornadoes embedded within this line would be moving off to the northeast. So if you are in these areas, you need to seek shelter immediately. That hail signature popping up, it's a little bit delayed because these storms are moving so fast. So you're going to get some damaging wind gusts. There is the potential of a tornado, and there is that potential of up to ping pong ball size hail. So looks like this might be just to the north of Nichols on the north side of town. Might clip the southwestern portions here of North Liberty. Maybe a little debris there just to the north of Nichols. Not seeing a strong sign of debris, which is good news because it might not necessarily be a very strong tornado, but it's a tornado doing damage nonetheless. So we have that observed tornado here in portions of Muscatine County, just to the north of Nichols, just to the west of Muscatine. But notice this bow in the line here. That's likely where we have those strongest winds, up to 70 miles per hour, that will be heading toward Wapello, toward Muscatine, heading into Rock Island and Mercer, Scott counties as well. So that's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning extending well out in advance of that line, because again, these storms are moving at highway speeds of about 55 miles per hour. So we've got the hail embedded in that as well. So right along that leading edge is where we have that highest probability of hail. That's where we're getting the most energy being pulled into the storm. So that's where we could get quarter to potentially ping pong ball size hail as this line of severe thunderstorms moves through. Kyle's going to put a track on this. And again, we're going to take this out of the warning because again, everyone's going to get warned with at least a severe thunderstorm warning. So this line of storms is going to be right over Mount Pleasant right about now there in Henry County, Iowa. Muscatine, about 10 minutes or so, 719. Buffalo at 736. Quad Cities Metro, we've been averaging between about 745, 750. So really about a half hour to 40 minutes from now, this line will be in the Quad Cities. And this is going to continue to track off to the east. Any more information, Kyle?
Yes, I would like to take a look here. We did, we keep, the one thing that is concerning is a couple things. The hail cores are increasing. So what that naturally means is that this storm is growing. The updraft is growing within this. But look at all these kinks in this line, especially this one that's in northwestern Muscatine County. If you're unfortunately the same areas that were just hit by destructive storms on Tuesday, you're in the line of this potential, not potential, we've got an observed tornado, and also the potential is there for up to 75 mile-an-hour winds with this. Is a very dangerous situation, and we continue with a tornadic vortex signature indicating that we do have strong rotation, and of course we've got that confirmed tornado that was confirmed by radar. We're going to take hail off here and we're going to focus on those circulations. And the biggest thing to note here, folks, is as Kyle mentioned, this whole line is got destructive winds with it, or up to destructive winds, as we've seen 70 plus mile an hour observed winds. That is observed. But again, so everybody's going to see something here, and that's certainly the concerning part. But let's zoom back into where I think the most concerning situation is, and it continues to be this very well-defined inflow notch with that tornadic vortex signature over West Liberty. Liberty. If you're in West Liberty, Atalissa, Wilton, Durant, shelter now. Get into your basements if you haven't already. This is a tornado warning with a confirmed tornado right now. We'll try to see if we can see. Look at those 2 inflow notches there, just to the south of Route 6. Here's another thing. Anybody traveling on I-80 needs to get off. You should not be out traveling. Anybody right now. If anybody traveling west out of the Quad Cities, get off. You got to let the storm pass through. This is a destructive storm right now with that potential tornado.
And the unfortunate part is the timing of this. A lot of you are getting ready to go end your work week and heading into work. Yeah, delay that right now. Everyone will be understanding because this is a very powerful line of storms. We've had a report again of a tornado near the Lone Tree area just to the southeast near Nichols, tracking off to the northeast. There might be a little bit of a tornado here just to the south of West Branch, and I'm monitoring our chat from the National Weather Service. Spotters are indicating that we do have a rotating wall cloud at the very least just to the south of West Liberty. So this might be going through a cycle where that tornado will lift very briefly, and then we'll get some more energy to move into it, and then it could reach the ground again. So again, it's these 2 areas that we are most concerned about here in portions of Cedar County, southwestern Cedar County, northern parts of Muscatine County, where we have that potential for a tornado with a storm that has a history of producing damage and a history of really knocking out power as well. Dustin Nolan was saying that there were more than 5,200 people that were without power in Keokuk County as these storms blew through. So these are packing quite a punch right here. And Kyle, what product are we looking at here?
This is the we're looking at is the wind shear, and this whole line, this section that is tornado warned, has got these pockets of very notable rotation. Once you start to see those lighter greens, that's where you do start to see that stronger rotation. And with this type of setup, it doesn't take much. Again, we're watching several areas. Let's take a look at that IDOT camera in West Branch, and let's take a look at that, and you can see, oh boy, yeah, you do. This is, look at that camera shaking right now. So this is impacting them right now.
And in addition to that possibility of that tornado, it's really those winds. These are capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds, and of course that possibility of maybe a couple embedded tornadoes with this. So you can certainly see the hazard lights are on. People are hopefully planning to get on this side of the road. So if you ever catch yourself out on the roads during storms like this, the best place to be is inside. Find the nearest gas station, a rest stop, something like that. You need to be inside with these storms because they're very dangerous. And on the leading edge of these types of severe thunderstorms, that's where we could get that brief spin-up tornado that could happen in a moment's notice with very little warning. Exactly. So we do not want to take these storms lightly. Kyle has put another track on this line of storms that continues to move off to the east and northeast.
This is going to be where this is at. I've got this mile marker pinned down. It's obviously there, but this is right where that circulation is. And look at the visibility continue to drop here. We're getting deeper into that storm probably. But yes, I do have a track up for you, Kyle. Those inflow notches continue to increase here, notably near West Liberty.
Yes, so Rochester 719, Moscow 721, West Liberty, excuse me, 723, Tipton at 724, Durant 730, Bennett 731, Buffalo 737, Dixon, Iowa 741. Do not wait for these times I just called out. Take shelter now. This is an extremely dangerous situation. We've had reports of tornadoes doing damage. We have the possibility of winds up to 70 miles per hour as these storms continue to track to the east. And again, as Kyle was mentioning, these are areas, I'm looking at you, Bennett, Wilton, that saw that destructive damage from Tuesday evening storms. These storms are heading right your way. So we're continuing to track some rotation here along the line. This might be a little concerning here off to the east of West Branch. That might be debris from a tornado.
And this is very close to where that camera was, and you saw that camera shaking. Those things are pretty well mounted on there. Yeah. We've for it to shake like that, double box it, and look at that right there. This is what we're dealing with right now.
So this is I-80 at mile marker 255.5 there. Is this in Cedar County or Muscatine County?
Yeah, and we've got a tornado debris signature
There we go. So we've got that storm that is going to continue to track off to the northeast. So West Branch, this is going to be the storm that is going to continue to track off to the northeast. So again, we're tracking a couple areas of rotation, one near West Liberty, and then one just to the east of West Branch there, right on Interstate 80. So this is what we're most concerned about here. So West Liberty right now, the storm is is over you. You should already be in your shelter place. So we're looking at Wilton, we're looking at Rochester, we're looking at Bennett, Tipton. Sheltered now. This is an extremely dangerous situation as these storms continue to track very quickly off to the east at 55 miles per hour. And again, along this leading edge, not only are we concerned for a possible spin-up tornado, but winds could be in excess of 60 to 70 miles per hour. And without a doubt, there will be some power outages that are going to be possible as well. So we've got that observed tag here on that tornado for Cedar, Johnson, Jones, Muscatine, and Rock Island County. This warning goes until 7:45. But again, these warnings are going to continue to be extended eastward. And just a note, with these severe thunderstorm warnings that are issued as well, take them as if they're a tornado warning. Head to your shelter place anyway. Look at this camera. Look at the camera there on the left side of your screen. Again, that's I-80 westbound at mile marker 255.5. We cannot see out of it. The visibility is very, very low. We've got those very destructive winds, possibility of that tornado nearby. So we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on this storm. Again, we have that possible debris here just to the northeast of West Liberty that is continuing to track off to the northeast there in Cedar County. So if you are living in Cedar County, you are having the potential of a tornado and destructive winds, so you need to be in your basement right now.
Yes, and if we can come here to, I want to show something real quick here. If we can come to the BAM or do double perfect. What you're noticing here right now is what we don't like to see when we're watching these storms. Look at this. This is a bow echo, and within that bow echo, there are these embedded tornadoes, unfortunately. But Muscatine to Wapello, just because you're not under, well, Muscatine, you are under a tornado warning, but down towards Wapello, just because you're not, you're still going to see the potential for a destructive storm. So all the way down to Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, you're through this now, but this is going to be moving into Des Moines County. This is going to affect the entire TV6 viewing area. Metro, it has its eyes set on us here within the next half hour to 40 minutes or so, as we said, about 7:45. But this bow echo, will zoom back into it and toss it back to Kyle Keel at the wall here so we can go back to that circulation. But definitely noting here, Kyle and Kevin, that we have several areas of circulation within this line. And we've got a couple, let's see here, a couple new areas of spin that we have to watch. But we continue with that tornadic vortex signature and tornado debris signature that is here near the Nichols area, and now that has moved off to the east. So these are moving so fast, it's hard to get.
Yeah, they're moving 55, 60 miles an hour. Yeah. So I've been monitoring the chat here on the stream. Lots of questions about the Quad Cities areas on the Illinois side of the river as well. Yes, this is all going to impact your area within the next 45 minutes to an hour and a half. So once a warning is issued, it might take some time for some of these storms to arrive. Just take your cover immediately. We have a lot of kids heading out to school, things like that. You might want to consider delaying that. As 70, 80 mile per hour winds certainly can do some damage. We saw that on that traffic camera out near West Branch. We're continuing. I would imagine this severe thunderstorm warning is going to get expanded onto the Illinois side of the river. Right now, technically, the metro is not included, but boy, by 7:45, 7:50, things are certainly going to begin to pick up.
Yeah, and great point, too. As I was racing in here this morning, the sirens on the Iowa side were going off. Yes, the warning is technically not for the metro, so your phones haven't gone off yet, but that warning does include Scott County. This is going to impact the metro. Now's your time to, if you've got anything outside that you need to move in and hopefully keep around, as Eric Maitland says, for another day, then do that now, because you don't have a lot of time. This is racing off to the east. One thing to know here, look at this, 78 mile an hour winds being indicated here. This is approaching the Wilton area. It's over Atalissa right now. We'll kind of zoom things out here. And I'm noticing another area of circulation pretty prominent here, Kyle Keel, to the north, just to the northeast of West Branch, but also near Atalissa as well. Kind of this whole line, this particular portion of that line really seems to be continuing to hold its own here with that rotation.
Yeah, and it's been that one just to the northeast of West Branch that has had that history of potentially producing some debris as well. We've seen debris being detected from time to time on radar. So again, it's one of these things where this tornado might be cycling as it continues to track off to the northeast, and meaning that it goes up briefly and then we'll get its act together and then we'll once again go down. So once again, this is a tornado warning. Now we've got just radar indicated here for portions of Cedar, Muscatine, and Rock Island County until 7:45. Again, it's really this Boeing segment that we're concerned about as well, with 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So these are enough to do damage. These are the types of winds that did that destruction last week, or I should say earlier this week, in portions of Cedar County, which again is getting hammered again. Muscatine, Cedar County, very hard hit with those 70 to 90 mile per hour winds. And as Kevin mentioned, these are racing off to the east at 55 miles per hour. So everyone will be impacted by these. So you will likely hear sirens going off here very soon. These also have the potential to produce quarter to ping pong ball size hail. So a lot of all three hazards with these as they continue to move off to the east. These are producing some torrential rain as well, being whipped around by those damaging winds. So we're going to continue to watch this. Muscatine, you are on deck to get these very strong winds here next. So you need to take shelter now if you haven't already. And if you, right when you get that alert to your phone, because a lot of these storms that are going to produce potential destruction will get that alert to your phone. You want to take action immediately as these continue to track off to the east. So we're going to be watching along this line just to the west of Tipton there, along the Johnson County, Cedar County line. That's where we've got some rotation. Rotation here just to the east of West Branch. Notice we've got the velocity popping up at about 75 mile per hour winds. Again, we've got to remember that the radar site here at the Mount Joy Airport, that's going up at an angle here. So we're getting those winds at a little bit of an angle, but we're getting closer to that radar site. So these winds are likely going to be closer to 60 to 70 miles per hour at the surface. Regardless, it's enough to do damage. So again, right now is the time to take action. We're watching, again, some kinks along this line here, especially along the northern portion of the line for that potential of some rotation. So you can see, again, these are moving very quick. We've got this hour loop. This goes off the radar screen. There you go. You can see it just to the west of Iowa City and Washington an hour ago. Now it is approaching Muscatine and the Mississippi River. Wapello, you're likely getting hammered right now. So as you do seek shelter, if you don't have a television in your basement, pull up your app. We're streaming on the QC weather app right now. We're streaming on our Facebook page. We're streaming on our YouTube page. We're on all platforms to keep you safe as this line of storms continues to plow to the east. Kyle Dickens is putting a track on the entire line because this is all severe or tornado warned. Again, moving east at about highway speeds. We're talking 55 miles per hour. So Muscatine, again, right now is the time to take shelter. It's 7:21 right now. The storms are knocking on your doorstep. Burlington, 7:35. Quad Cities, I would say a quarter till to about 7:50. These storms will be in the metro. Pleasant Valley, 7:56. Illinois side, Galesburg, there you go, 8:06. Clinton, 8:17. Morrison, Illinois, they're in Whiteside County just before 8:30, and about 8:45 in Sterling. So we're taking these about an hour and a half out to give you that early first alert that these are going to continue to track off to the east and are going to impact the entire TV6 viewing area. So any latest updates on the tornado? Do we have it just radar detected, or
just radar detected here at this point? Getting some reports. H&I down at Muscatine, they're all taking shelter now. So Muscatine proper, Fruitland, you all need to be taking shelter. Have some reports of a semi blown over out near West Liberty and West Branch, where we had that traffic camera here early. The best circulations right now are just north of Cedar Valley Park, out near Rochester there in Cedar County. So we're seeing that well evident there on the wind velocity. So folks that have been asking out from near Cordova, Eldridge, Atalissa, things like that, this line is all happening in your area within the next half hour. So take shelter now. Even if you're not included in the warning, say from DeWitt to Clinton, Joslyn, even Cole Valley, this line is going to be in your area within the next 30 to 45 minutes. That is why you need to take shelter now or start taking your precautions. This line is moving at 55 miles per hour. I just looked at the power outage map. Man, there's tons of power outages here along and south of I-80. This is heading towards our areas. So there's the West Branch live look there, traffic cam.
So yeah, we're seeing obviously some rain. It looks like the worst part of the storm is now east of West Branch, but even behind the initial line of storms doing the damage and where we have had those tornadoes observed, there's still going to be a lot of heavy rain. There's going to be some lightning, maybe a little bit of hail with it, but you can certainly see the hazard lights as these vehicles are traveling westbound. We're still seeing some very heavy rain behind that initial line of storms. So this is the scene out of West Branch there along I-80 at mile marker 252. That camera is still shaking around a bit, so you can see by the wind velocities that we still have quite a bit of gusty wind behind these storms here. Again, this is the view from West Branch there along Interstate 80. And I just want to point out here on the radar that we have a couple of areas that we're concerned of rotation just to the northeast of West Branch, southeast of Tipton. This is heading right toward Tipton, especially on the north side of town. So if you're in Tipton, we are indicating a little rotation here along the leading edge of this line of storms, which is right to the southwest of you near Rochester. This is tracking off to to the northeast individually at about 55 miles per hour. So this is going to be in the Wilton area south of Tipton around 7:25. Tipton 7:27. That's 3 minutes from now. This is likely going to be delayed a little bit. Do not wait for these times that are appearing on your screen right now that I'm calling out because it could be a little bit quicker as well. Walcott 7:38, Loudoun there in Cedar County 7:42, Wheatland 7:45, Davenport 7:47, Quad Cities Metro right around 7:50. Quad Cities, we're not necessarily concerned with a tornado at this point in time. What we're most concerned about is this Boeing segment here near Muscatine to produce the 60 to 70 mile per hour winds as these continue to plow east. I bet you any minute now we're going to see this warning get a little farther extended eastward here into portions of Rock Island, Henry, Mercer County as well, perhaps even Whiteside County. All of this line is actually warned as these continue to move off to the east. The strongest part of this line looks to be moving through the heart of the TV6 viewing area right now. Portions of Cedar, Muscatine, and Louisa County are under the gun right now for that damaging wind that could be 60 to 70 miles per hour or greater. I know Kyle was pulling up some velocity of 90 mile per hour winds potentially. That'll translate to right around 70, maybe 75% or 75 miles per hour as we head into the damaging part of the storm.
Okay, we've got a camera to look at here, and this is going to be approaching this area here momentarily, and you can see that leading edge there. That is things starting to get a little windy, and so yeah, even though you might not technically be underneath the leading edge of that, this is definitely approaching your area. We're also looking at sky view as well, and it's still a little ways, but it looks like a shelf cloud is starting to form here, and that will be certainly moving into the region. Let's go back to radar real quick because I'm seeing an indication here in Cedar County of a renewed rotation, and that's going to be the thing, and that's probably why in that particular area, that northern quadrant from Muscatine County up into Cedar County, we'll probably see that continue with a tornado warning as this continues off, because technically speaking, you think about it and just how things work. The sun is now up, so we're gonna actually build some energy here, and these types of lines can go for quite a while.
Yes, and so again, north of here, we've got a tornado in portions of Linn County as well. So the northern part of this storm needs to be watched for some tornadoes as well. I should say the northern part of the line of storms needs to be watched for a couple tornadoes. Again, this is one of those things where, you know, these tornadoes can really spin up very quickly here on the leading edge of this line. So we're watching here in northeastern portions of Linn County. This could clip Monticello here in Jones County. Anamosa getting hammered with some very damaging wind gusts as well. This is tracking to the northeast, so it's this part of the line that we're watching here for Wyoming heading into Jackson County right around Maquoketa. This part of the line is likely going to track eastward, so heads up Savannah up toward Stockton, Galena. That's where we are going to be noticing this part of the line, which could have the possibility of a tornado as well. So again, treat any warning you get, whether it's a severe thunderstorm or a tornado, treat it as if it's a tornado, because these winds could be destructive at about 60 to 70 miles per hour. So Kyle Dickens putting another track on here for us. This is going to be in Burlington, the southern part of this line. We haven't talked much about the southern part of the line, still doing quite a bit of potential damage as well in portions of Louisa, Henry County, Iowa, as well as into Des Moines County. That'll be in your neck of the woods here in less than 15 minutes at about 7:40. Again, Quad Cities Metro 7:45 to 7:50. That's where we do need to be on really alert for those storms.
If we go to Max 2, Kevin's got a camera pulled up here.
I got a camera pulled up out near Tipton, Iowa. We got a shelf cloud rolling through right now. Just getting some reports in of damage in Muscatine proper. Power outages are starting to pop up down that way as well. Winds estimated 60 to 70 and even 80 miles per hour. Viewers down there saying the wind and hail was crazy. So if that's any indication there, areas in the Quad Cities, Mercer County, you think of New Boston, take cover here at the moment. But that is that line moving into Tipton, Iowa. This picture was taken just about 3 minutes ago. So we'll keep close eyes on this. As we get our streaming cameras up and running here to our west, we'll be able to better monitor that situation. But as we've been talking about pretty much since I came in about 2:30, 2:15 this morning, this line was marching through Omaha, Nebraska at this time, and it continues to produce severe wind threats. So treat any warning that you get as a tornado warning and get to your safe space immediately, because 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds are going to do damage. We've had semis blown over already to the west, and if that's any indication of what we can expect here in the Quad Cities, this is not something to mess around with.
Right, and the one thing I'm noticing here too, guys, is as these continue to move east, the winds are actually staying sustained for a little bit of time. It's not just that leading edge and you're done. This is not last lasting a long time, but nonetheless, we are seeing this wind move in, and for about 5-10 minutes, you've got a pretty nasty storm over top of you. I'm continuing to be concerned here with this storm just in the Tipton area with that inflow notch. And when we talk about these inflow notches, what that is you get this red. The red is the winds moving away from the radar. Green is towards the radar. So radar, you see that spinning dome down there. That's where the radar is at Mount Joy at the National Weather Service. Well, this red indicates that the winds are inflowing or flowing into the storm, and you get this big pool of destructive winds. I bet you we got 70+ mile-an-hour winds right there just to the northwest of Tipton, or near Tipton now with how these storms are moving. And that's where you can see these spin-up tornadoes where that meets. So that is what we're concerned with, as well as that what we're seeing confirmed 70+ mile-an-hour winds. I'm going to back up here and put this in motion, and I'm going to kind of thin things out a little bit just to go down to the radar data itself and show just what we've got, and you can see the kind of the evolution of this.
And Kyle, while you do that, I'm just going to name off some towns that are in the path of this from north to south: Clarence, Loudoun, Bennett, New Liberty, Durant, Bluegrass, Edgington, Buffalo Prairie, Eliza, Millersburg, New Boston, Keithsburg, Mediapolis, Oquawka, Burlington. This is right on your doorsteps. Within the next 15 minutes or so, these storms are going to be knocking on your doors. And again, we're talking about already some damage being reported out of Muscatine itself. Those storms just got in there, so things are just getting started, and we're already getting that damage. There's the latest track for you. You saw we've got Buffalo around 7:38, the Quad Cities at 7:50, Joslyn 8:05, Galena 8:08, Galva, Henry County, Illinois. So we're going well ahead of this at 8:17, and then Clinton, Iowa, right around 8:20. As this line of destructive storms continues to track to the east. Again, we're concerned for those spin-up tornadoes along the leading edge of this line, but the other concern is going to be 60 to 70 mile-per-hour winds, enough obviously to do some damage. These are the types of winds that we saw on Tuesday evening that impacted our communities here to the north of the Quad Cities Metro. And again, it's along this line that we are tracking. It looks like just north of Wilton there, between Wilton and Tipton there in Cedar County, as well as around Tipton as well. That's where we do have some rotation as well. So we've got another camera that we want to look at. This is I-80 at mile marker 269. Obviously some lightning with these storms as well. Very heavy rainfall. The camera's shaking around a bit with some wind. So yeah, these storms are pretty charged as they continue to track really quickly to the east. Highway speeds at about 55 miles per hour.
Okay, and the one thing I'm noticing here, and this is concerning, and this is as Kyle has mentioned, when we look at this radar display here and we're watching this come into the viewing area, typically when we look at this wind velocity, we'll see it kind of wind down a little bit. That's because the radar shoots up into the sky. Well, look at this here near Tipton. Look at these colors actually getting brighter. Well, that means that we're getting closer to the ground here, and that means that we're getting a better look, and these winds are now approaching 80 miles an hour just outside of Tipton. If you're in Tipton, and really anywhere in Cedar County, anywhere in any of the counties that we have warned for, and I'll back that up and kind of give you an idea of exactly who's under what right now. We've now got an observed tornado on this. Observed tornado for this warning. So we now have back to that observed tag here, and there's that severe thunderstorm warning that now does include the metro.
Yes.
So this is that downstream warning. You've got about 10 to 15 minutes here in the metro, roughly. Get to shelter now. This is one of those deals where you want to treat it like a tornado warning, as we have these quick spit-up tornadoes. I'll get the information specifically on that warning that is now in place for the entire Quad City Metro, also into Mercer County, all of Mercer County, and also into parts of Henderson and Warren County. Considerable damage threat, tornado possible on that.
Yeah, so this has the potential to produce 70 mile-per-hour winds. So yes, for those of you who are going to be heading outside here very soon, you're going to hear those outdoor warnings start to sound in the metro area, as this has that potential to really do a lot of destruction. Can we pull the radar off to the west here so we can see these storms coming in? So again, that observed tornado is now in effect for that warning here just off to the east here in portions of Jones, Lynn, Muscatine, and Rock Island County. And I think that tornado was spotted here off to the north near Lynn County. So that's where that observation comes from, or that observation comes from. But again, we've seen some kinks along this line itself here, especially in Cedar County, where we do have that potential for a little bit of rotation. But again, if it's not producing a tornado, it's producing that potential of those 70 mile-per-hour winds. So again, Quad Cities Metro, you are now now under that severe thunderstorm warning for winds up to 70 miles per hour a possibility. These are plowing through Wilton as well as Muscatine, heading down toward Illinois City, Edgington, and portions of Rock Island County. These continue to move east at 55 miles per hour. Grand Mound, you are included in this as well. I suspect that we're going to get this line warned here into portions of Clinton as well as Jackson County here any moment now. And again, this line does continue to produce potential damage even south of what we're depicting on the radar, but we're going to put a track on these storms right now. Again, within the next 15 to 20 minutes, Quad Cities Metro will be impacted by this. 742 around Buffalo, Kelowna, Illinois, there in Henry County, 801, Galena at 810, Clinton, no warning now, but now's the time to prepare. 820, Savannah, right around 826. So if you heard your town called, now is the time to take shelter. Take your cell phones with you. Stream us on your app. We will continue to keep you updated here on these dangerous storms as they continue to move east. Have had a history of producing damage, and we've had a history of a couple tornadoes as well. And a lot of these tornadoes will spin up in a moment's notice, so it doesn't give you much warning. So as Kevin has been mentioning, treat this as a tornado warning, regardless if you're in a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. So Kyle has zoomed us into Cedar County, just to the west of Bennett, east of Tipton. This is the area right now we're looking at the winds inside the storm. Again, we've got the winds going away from the radar site, the red. The green are the winds going toward the radar site. So when we get this couplet here, where we get the reds and the greens coming together, this is where we have the strongest rotation. So just to the west of Bennett, there is where we have that potential for that tornado, or at least maybe a wall cloud that could reach the ground for becoming a tornado. So again, with these winds, they're up to 60 to potentially 70 miles per hour. Again, the individual kinks in the line, they're moving off to the northeast as the line itself continues to track off to the east very quickly. So again, he's popping up some wind speeds in there at the radar level. They're at about 75 miles per hour. So that would translate to that potential of 60 to 70 miles per hour at the surface.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of, like I said, I like to kind of thin things out here, and so we can kind of see what this looks like. And as I mentioned, my concern is as this is approaching the Quad City Metro, not only do we have these areas of circulation that we're concerned with, but I also am continuing to be concerned with, and I'll put the warnings back on here, I'm continuing to be concerned with just the fact that as we're getting a better look at this approaching the eastern portion of Muscatine County. I'll put the labels back on so we can see our cities, but we've got some bright colors starting to pop there, and this is getting closer and closer to the ground. So I would naturally say that we've got some winds probably right there. Look at that.
There we go.
That's pretty close to the radar. That's what's happening. So I bet if we see some of these traffic cams near Walcott, if we look west towards near Walcott, we will be able to see this, not only the shelf cloud, but this is going to approach that area. So
just for reference, this is the radar right here. So we're very close to the radar site. So it's concerning that we're seeing these very, very strong winds. So right near Durant, that's where we have the strongest winds. This is about 15 miles from the radar site there on the north side of Davenport. So Walcott, Bluegrass, heading down toward Buffalo, Edgington, take shelter now. Treat this as if it's a tornado warning. Again, we have had kinks in the line of the storm. So we're going to continue to watch these as they track to the east.
Okay, it looks like we may have had a new warning. Oh no, that's a spike in the. Actually, that's interesting to see some of those spikes. I-80, I-280 camera we've got pulled up now, and those dark clouds approaching. That's certainly something that
keeps getting darker and darker.
It does, exactly. But I'm gonna go. Let's do this. We look at those and look at some of our other cameras. We continue with that observe tag here on that tornado warning. So this was a confirmed tornado near, and this was more into Lynn County earlier. Now, the other thing too is hail's increasing in size as well.
And I do want to warn everyone that if you're watching our live stream, we are at about a 2-minute delay. So just be aware of that when you're doing the coverage. That's why we're calling out specific times, and that's why we don't want you to wait, because those times can fluctuate. But if we go back to First Alert Live Doppler radar, Kyle has the hail product that's pulled up here, and now you can certainly see just to the west of Wilton, Iowa. That's where we do see that potential of hail that is up to at least an inch in diameter. It could be up to ping pong ball size. So we've got all hazards that are a potential with this. We've got those damaging wind gusts, 60 to 70 miles per hour, the potential for a tornado at a moment's notice, as well as these destructive winds there along the leading edge that could be up to 60 or 70 miles per hour. So this is approaching the Bluegrass area right now. Walcott there right along Interstate 80. That's where that storm is just about ready to move in. We're starting to notice on our camera network that we are seeing those skies really darken. Quad Cities, you look off to the west, you're likely going going to be seeing a shelf cloud here very soon. Quad Cities, now is the time to head to the basement. If you don't have a basement, go to an interior room. We're talking a closet, a bathroom. Take something to maybe cover your head if there is, flying debris. We obviously don't want that to happen, but we want to take those precautions. We've got another estimated time here, 7:42 in Buffalo. Preemption, 7:49. Quad City, 7:54. 8:02 in Kelowna. Joslyn at 8:09. Comanche at 8:16. Atkinson, Illinois at 6:19. New tornado warning, Kyle?
Yep, and this is going to include northwestern Scott County. This is going to include Jackson and Clinton County and northeastern portions of Cedar County right now. And I'm betting that we're going to see an observe tag with this.
This is actually radar indicated right now.
Okay. But it is, it's showing up. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, I was picking up that other one. And a new severe thunderstorm warning. I'm just going to back out here, and I think maybe we could do just a quick tour, because everybody is going to be under some type of warning at some point here, I think, in the next, within the hour. So taking everything off, we'll put the watches and warnings back on. And here's the slew of advisories and watches and warnings we have. We have a couple tornado warnings to talk about. We continue with that one that's moving out of Muscatine County. Muscatine, you continue with this warning, but I think the most significant portion of the storm has made its way through the Muscatine area, and it has. But now, new tornado warning here that does include, again, portions of Scott County, very small portion of Scott County, but it does include Dixon, Bennett, just to your north. It looks like that is the area of circulation, but Wheatland, Toronto, Oxford Junction, you are now under a tornado warning. And this is also, once again, over I-80. So anybody listening to us that is traveling out of the Quad Cities heading west, really anybody traveling anywhere, shut it down for the next hour or so. Let this thing pass through, and then resume your activities. This is some destructive winds that we're getting confirmed here. But we'll talk about that severe thunderstorm warning that was extended now to include Galena, Savannah, Clinton, Maquoketa. You're now under a severe thunderstorm warning. Also Bellevue, Preston, Charlotte, Otter Creek, Elizabeth. You guys are now under that severe thunderstorm warning. Again, that is going to be for these destructive winds that we've seen in excess of 70 miles per hour. So destructive storm indeed.
So the northern part of this line here, which includes Galena, Maquoketa, Clinton, that's where we're concerned for 60-mile-per-hour winds. The strongest part of the line here is really heading right through the heart of the QCA, starting to cross the Mississippi River here from Muscatine and Scott County into Rock Island County. These are where we have that potentially destructive winds up to 70 miles per hour of potential, where we have that Boeing segment here, that leading edge of that storm. That's where we are continuing to track it. So south side of the Quad Cities is going to get the strongest part of the storm with winds up to 60 miles per hour. But, we haven't mentioned our southern hometowns too much. If you're watching from Aledo, just off to your west toward Joy, that's where we are seeing those strong winds. Very heavy rainfall, probably a lot of lightning with this as well. Mediapolis getting hammered right now. You go to the south toward Oquaka as well as Burlington, especially north side of Burlington, you're going to get clipped with these storms as well. But it's, again, this new tornado warning here in effect for portions of Cedar as well as northwestern Scott County heading into Cedar County, southwest of Maquoketa there. That's where we have the potential for this part of the line to produce maybe a tornado, as we have had those kinks or those areas of rotation that have really become noticeable here really consistently over the last hour or two. As these lines continue to plow east.
Yeah, and like I said, the concern is there's a lot of concerns with this. Let's unpack it all right now. We've got, I'm going to take the warnings off. We know that those warnings are there pretty much.
The entire line.
Yes.
Yeah, you might as well
we're going to leave those off because it's just cluttering up our display, but we'll watch for those tornado warnings. What we're noticing is, look at where the apex or the most significant portion of this line has got its eyes set on the metro Quad Cities. In the next 10 minutes or so, from west to east, things are going to deteriorate fast here in the metro. If we look at sky view, you can see this nasty shelf cloud that is getting ready to move in here. And this is a picture that I know we'll be seeing a lot of. You see that low cloud there that is pushing all that, that's that wind that is pushing up against that humid air that's out ahead of it. And we'll probably see some power flashes. We'll probably see some dust get kicked up as this continues to move in. But we're going to continue to monitor this shot. Let's go back to radar because I'll put some times of arrivals here. But again, this is a dangerous situation because, these lines of storms, the tornado warnings get a lot of coverage, and rightfully so. But these destructive lines of storms, and I don't need to tell people that have been here since the derecho this, but it affects a lot of people. And I'm interested to know, and I'm going to ask Dustin here in just a second if they've had any updates on power outages, because I'm sure that we're seeing a big increase of those out to the west. But Quad Cities here, again, next 5 to 10 minutes, this will start moving in from west to east.
Yeah, so you can see that we do have the line that is continuing to move off to the east at 55 miles per hour. It will be in Burlington here very, very soon. Couple minutes now at 7:46. That line is capable of producing maybe 50 to 60 mile per hour winds there. Again, Quad Cities, we keep mentioning you. Within the next 10 minutes, the metro will start to be impacted. Pleasant Valley, 7:59, 8:10. It'll be heading toward the Joslin area. So again, not only are we talking about that potential for those damaging wind gusts as well as maybe a couple of tornadoes, but we're also seeing some embedded pockets of some hail in here as well. And what we're looking at right now is the wind velocity. These are the winds inside the storm. Doppler radar can show us many, many things, including where we do have a potential rotation. Notice here just behind the line of storms, this is how powerful these storms are. We have that potential for those 70 mile per hour wind gusts behind that leading edge. So might get a quick rush of wind and then maybe 60 to 70 mile per hour winds behind that as well. But near Clarence, maybe just to the north of Bennett, west of Wheatland, that's where we have a little couplet showing up where the winds are meeting. The reds are the winds going toward the radar site in Davenport, the green, or I should say away from the radar site in Davenport, the green going toward the radar site. So we're getting that rotation there of that potential tornado just to the southwest of Wheatland, north of Bennett, and then also just to the west of Clarence there, right along Highway 30. That's where we have another area of rotation. So Kyle Dickens has circled those areas of rotation for you. But again, damaging wind gusts right behind that line as well. That leading edge now getting into portions of Scott County, so crossing the Muscatine County line into Scott County. Walcott likely going to be getting in on some very strong winds. So if we can get that camera at I-80 at Walcott to, if we can get that pulled up here pretty soon, that'd probably be a little bit helpful here as we continue to see that storm move pretty much right along I-80 toward the Metro Quad City. So Davenport, Bettendorf, Eldridge, Moline, Rock Island, East Moline, y'all need to take shelter right now.
Yeah, that Walcott camera unfortunately is down because I was trying to pull that in here earlier. But some of the cameras out near the 280 I-80 interchange are really starting to get dark. So yeah, over the next 10 to 15 minutes in the Quad Cities, this is going to barrel through. Getting a lot of questions now from Carroll County out near Sterling and Rock Falls. And there is a live look out at Northwest Boulevard. Look how dark those clouds are off to the west.
It's solid. And here's another thing too is the rainfall. I mean, this is producing a couple inches per hour rainfall totals. And what's going to happen with that if you're caught in this driving, not only is the wind going to be an issue, hydroplaning, visibility, there's a whole slew of reasons not to go out right now. But we continue with this severe thunderstorm warning. If you're just joining us right now, maybe getting woken up to the sound of the sirens or your phone going off, we have a couple tornado warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm warning pretty much for the entire, from north to south right now, for pretty much the entire area, as the most significant portion of this line is unfortunately going to move through the heart of the Quad Cities. Let's take a look at sky view because we are getting a good view of this right now. I'm going to tilt it down just a tad.
There we go.
There you go. And I bet you what we're going to start to see, unfortunately, is probably some power flashes as this line moves through. But you can see I'm going to tilt it just a little bit to the south here so we can get some good good texture there. But you can see, look at that. That is coming up from west to east here. It's going to move right into the metro, and you're going to start to see some dust form here, dust blow up, and not to mention too, just all around conditions going to deteriorate pretty quickly here for the metro. And we zoom out and you can really see that. Let's go back to radar real quick because I am noticing here, we want to kind of give some attention back to that tornado warning. I'm noticing a little bit of renewed strength here in that couplet that we were talking about, or that area of rotation here near the Clarence area. But the most significant portion of the storm, I will say right now, appears to be still into Cedar County, eventually going to make its way into western Clinton County. So if you're in Clinton County and also towards Maquoketa, unfortunately, areas that really took the brunt of Tuesday's storm, you're going to be in this again, unfortunately.
Yes, so it's really around the Tipton area, points off to the northeast toward Clarence. That's where we have potential rotation. As we go a little farther south toward portions of Scott County, we're not getting any indication of any strong signs of rotation. Not to be said that there could be a quick spin up, but the primary threat here in the Metro Quad Cities is certainly going to be that potential for some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So if you're hearing the sirens, that is why, because these are the potential for some damaging winds up to 70 miles miles per hour. Fortunately, we've not heard any reports of an observed tornado in the last several minutes, so that's why these are now radar indicated tornado warnings. But nonetheless, as we've been mentioning all morning long, we need to treat this entire line as if it is a tornado warning, because these winds are 60 to 70 miles per hour. Just be in your safe place, lowest level of your home, interior room or closet if you don't have a basement. Obviously, the basement is the best place to be. This is a radar loop over the last hour or so, and you can see that just an hour ago, these were just outside of the TV6 viewing area. We went on air right around 7 o'clock, and these are now racing toward the Mississippi River, pretty much right on cue with what we were thinking. Kyle Dickens has put a latest track on this. It'll be in Burlington at 7:49, Galena 8:13, Quad Cities Metro pretty much moving in right now from west to east. Galesburg 8:19, Kewanee 8:36, Morrison, Illinois there in Whiteside County 8:37, Sterling Rock Falls area at 8:51, and Princeton, we're taking this all the way out to the eastern portions of the viewing area, 8:59, so that's Princeton, Illinois at 8:59. So within the next hour or so, these are going to continue to track off to the east. And just when the storms are over, the threat of heavy rain continues. You'll notice that we do have some steady rain out to the west toward Iowa City, and it was around the Iowa City area just to the southwest toward Kelowna, Iowa, as well as Wellman, Iowa, where we did get reports of a damaging tornado a little bit earlier. That part of the storm is now into portions of Cedar County as well as Muscatine County. And the picture you're seeing right now, or the video, is our DOT cam at I-80 at I-280, that interchange there. You can see that wind is starting to pick up. We're starting to see that reduced visibility with that very, very heavy rain that Kyle was talking about as these storms move into the metro area. So if you have to travel, I would recommend holding off for the next hour or so as these storms move through.
And we have got, Kevin Phelps has got, is working on our camera network. We're going to take a look at radar here real quick. As this approaches the metro, we'll have a good view of this. And let's go back to radar, and we can see from north to south, we have this line of extensive wind damage being reported in several areas. I got viewers sending me reports of lots of power outages right now. Lots of power outages being reported, lots of pictures coming in. We appreciate that. Thank you for sending those. If we could pop Skyview up right now.
Yeah, Skyview or Max 2.
Look at that right there.
Let's pulled up.
Yes,
so.
And guarantee what we're going to see here, how we've got this set up.
Hey, new tornado warning for Rock Island County, guys.
Okay, and I'll dive into that.
So let's zoom in there. So yeah, we got a new tornado warning. This does include Moline. It includes Milan, Coin Center, heading into Henry County, Illinois. This includes Orion, Osco, Geneseo. This is a new tornado warning and the potential of golf ball size hail as well. So we need to keep a close eye on this. Right now, this is a radar indicated warning, so it should pop up here in our system pretty soon. But there is that potential for a tornado in this storm crossing the Mississippi River heading into Rock Island County. So hopefully we can get that polygon to show up there. But this does include especially the south side of Moline, Coal Valley. You are included in this as well. Silvis, Kelowna, Cleveland, Illinois, Joslyn, you are included in this as well, especially there along the south side. So we're going to continue to watch this part of the storm. Looks like there might be a little rotation there just west of Highway 67 there. Actually, the latest scan of velocity shows that maybe going away just a little bit, but
just west there in Matherville, out near Aledo.
Yes, so we need to keep a very close eye on that part of the storm, as well as down into Mercer County as well. So again, new tornado warning should be popping up here any moment here for portions of Rock Island County, as well as into Henry County. So if you're in Kelowna, if you're in Moline, Milan, Preemption, you need to seek shelter now, because there is that potential for along the leading edge here for that potential of a tornado just west of Highway 67 right now, just to the southwest of Milan. That's where we do indicate maybe just a little bit of rotation. And Kevin, you said that rotation is indicated a little farther south into Mercer County as well. So if you're in Mercer County, you're already under that severe thunderstorm warning for that potential of 7 mile per hour
Let's go to Skyview.
winds.
We got a power flash on Skyview right now. Okay, this is approaching here. I'm going to zoom back out. We just had a power flash here just underneath, about dead center where this, where I've got this pictured here, and that's most likely. But look at this. Look at this area of look at this little lowering that's forming. We could see, unfortunately, we could see spin ups here along this line. Oh, yeah. I think we may have had we may have lost our internet here, and unfortunately, we're going to be experiencing some outages of our own, because I've got no control over the Skyview, unfortunately. But there we go. Look at that. Look at that dust being picked up right there. I'm gonna go back.
You can see it right there.
Right there. And so let's just stay with this for right now. Folks in the metro, take shelter now. This is a dangerous situation, as we have, and I apologize as the camera picture is moving around here. We are experiencing an outage of our own, it seems like, but we have a concentrated area right here to the west. Look at that. That might be that might be a developing circulation right here, where we have a concentrated area. Look at this right here. This is a developing circulation right here that we're seeing that dust get picked up, that little bit of a lowering right there. I'm looking at another product here, and it looks like we might have a circulation moving into the metro. Look at that right there. That might be a tornado or a developing circulation right there. I think we have a tornado on the ground. Look at that right there.
Okay, yeah, that's a little concerning.
Okay,
yeah, that dust is definitely
shelter
going
now.
out.
Get to your basements now. That it looks like we have a concentrated area of circulation. Possible tornado on the ground.
And regardless, yeah, I mean, you can see that that dust is being pulled up into that storm where we have that rotation. So regardless, tornado or not, this is definitely doing that damage. We saw some power flashes. So we can also see there in Rock Island, we've got that dust blowing as well. So this is where those 70-mile-per-hour winds are a possibility. And you can see those clouds are really moving. That just shows you how fast these storms are moving. There's that tornado warning. If we can go back to First Alert Live Doppler radar for portions of Henry and Rock Island County. This does go until 8:30. Again, that potential for some baseball-sized hail with this as well, as this continues to track off to the east. This includes, I would say, the south side of Moline, heading down into the Coal Valley area. Milan, these storms are just coming in right now, and we've got Skyview pulled up as well because we're continuing to monitor all that dust coming in. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on these storms as they move in. Again, moving very, very fast. We can see a lot of dust being picked up by this storm as well. So again, we have a tornado warning right now for portions of Rock Island County as well as Henry County, Illinois. And again, this whole entire line of storms from Galena down to Burlington, the potential for 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds. So there's a picture for you with that sunrise to the east shining on that storm moving into the Quad Cities. That is picking up some dust, as we do have that potential for some 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds. Galesburg in Knox County, northern part of Knox County, under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So again, everyone is likely going to be under this warning, especially north of Burlington. That's where we have the strongest winds. Portions of Henderson, Warren County, as well as into portions of Mercer County, getting indications of potentially up to 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as these storms move in. So Skyview right now is overlooking the metro as those storms move in. We're moving the camera around just to kind of see if we can see any lowering there, but regardless of any rotation with it, these are definitely producing some strong winds that's picking up the dust.
And we can hear it here at the station
on top of the studio right now.
Yeah, and that camera's going to start shaking. I am noticing with that little concentrated area of circulation, as we do have, thankfully, we've got our radar data back. We noticed a little bit of circulation just as it was moving into Davenport. There may be a brief tornado, and that's what you see with these. You get these little spin-ups, but right now, damaging winds certainly going to be the concern as we watch here. Things are going to get real dark real fast on this picture, and we might be able to see some power flashes again, as we noticed earlier as that was moving in. But here at the station, hopefully we've got the generators fired up, because it is going to, we're probably going to see some big power outages here in the metro. But 756, this is now making its way into the metro.
And we do have another tornado warning that we want to make you aware about in northern portions of Jackson County. This is once again radar indicated rotation. So we have a few tornado warnings right now. One for portions of Cedar, Clinton, Jones, and Scott County. And again, another one here into portions of Rock Island and Henry County into Illinois. And then just north of Maquoketa there in Jackson County, we've got that newly issued tornado warning. I'm going to read that off from the National Weather Service as well. That is a northwestern Jackson County into southeastern portions of Dubuque County, where we have that tornado warning. So we're going to continue to keep track of this. So Lost Nation heading into Maquoketa. Maquoketa, you're not officially under that tornado warning, but treat that severe thunderstorm warning as if it's a tornado warning, because we are tracking maybe a little bit of rotation there between Wheatland and Lost Nation there in Clinton County as this continues to track off to the north and east. But again, the line itself is encompassing the entire TV6 viewing area. So as these continue to move off to the east, we are going to continue to watch these produce some damaging wind gusts. So we've got a quad panel here of some of the cameras, and look at that 280 in Rock Island. Ooh, wow, low visibility as those winds are really picking up, whipping that rain around.
And the I-74 Middle Road there, you can see that shelf cloud quickly approaching the area, because that camera is facing to the south and west.
Very dark.
But yeah, that Rock Island camera shows you all you need to know. You got people pulled off to the side of the road there as it's raining so hard with those strong winds. You can tell that it hasn't hit I-74 and I-80 yet, but within the next 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to see things change. The I-80 at Brady camera was shaking considerably here just 30 seconds ago. We may have lost the connection with that one. Oh, there it goes, starting to pick back up again.
And obviously, as we are, just like everybody else, we do take, we got generators, but we can lose our signals and as well. But yeah, this is a nasty storm making its way into the metro area now. So the Iowa side, you're really, except with the exception of probably Bettendorf, you're getting, obviously we're seeing I-74 at Bettendorf there. That's getting ready to move in. But Moline and into Rock Island now. This is moving in. We continue with that tornado warning as well, Kyle.
Yeah.
And I will say this, we were watching that circulation move right down the river there. We may have picked up a little brief spin up or at least a concentrated area of dust there that looked like it was coming right towards the station. But now it definitely, I'm looking around here and we're not seeing much. If we go back to that double box with radar and sky view right now as we see, and actually, you know what, that I-74 camera, yeah, there we go, and you can see, look at that sharp edge there. Heavy driving rain now moving into the metro, but looking off to the west here, or looking off to the east rather, at least here in the metro, this is now moving over the I-74 bridge.
Yes, so this is going to turn into so we've got a view in Moline as well as these storms are approaching. This is I-74 at 11th Avenue. You can see there looking off to the east how light the sky is, looking off to the west, that shelf cloud moving in. So very soon, hopefully these cars can pull off maybe the avenue of the city's exit or something like that to maybe get to a grocery store or a gas station or maybe a local business just to take shelter as the strongest part of the storm moves in. And at this point in time, they are not included in that tornado warning. We're looking at the velocity inside the storm, not seeing strong signs of rotation there, but we need to keep an eye a little farther south into portions of Henderson and Warren County.
We just got a report of a power outage in Rock Island County.
So yes, power outages likely are going up probably to the thousands here very soon with these storms. But just to the southeast of Little York there, we are looking at that potential for maybe a little rotation there as you get into Warren and Henderson County. They're a little farther to the south, but we're continuing to monitor the potential for a tornado here along the line. Not seeing too many strong signs of rotation here along the line. We're looking for where we get little kinks where the reds and the greens here, the winds inside the storm meet up. But we're not seeing strong signs of that. So that's why this all is being blanketed here with a severe thunderstorm warning. So we have a new tornado warning now. What's the details on that?
That one's going to include areas in Whiteside County until 8:45 here this morning.
Yeah, it's making up the eastern portion, what just moved through the metro. Look, that I-74 bridge shot is going to be very interesting here as we are. I feel bad for all the people driving in this right now because it's going to get pretty wild here very soon. But yeah, that new tornado warning, that circulation that moved right over top of us here in Davenport is now getting noted as a circulation on radar as well. So it gets a little bit hard to pick these up once it's over the metro because our radar is either at the surface or just a little bit above, and sometimes
there's that new tornado warning here in effect. It's a pretty large one here. Into portions of Rock Island County as well as Scott County, southwestern portions of Carroll County, southeastern Jackson County, and into Clinton County. This is for a radar indicated tornado. So again, what we've been talking about here over the last hour or so is that along this line here, not only are we concerned about the damaging wind, but we are concerned about areas of rotation as well. So right around the Wheatland area, you're about to get hammered with some strong winds. There could be an embedded tornado in here, maybe a brief, quick spin up, but nonetheless, a tornado is a possibility here out of this. So this warning here, that new warning here for portions of Carroll, Clinton, Jackson, Rock Island, Scott, and Whiteside County goes until 8:45. The main concern with this is going to be a tornado and potentially up to 60, maybe 70-mile-per-hour winds with it as well if there's not a tornado. There could be some small hail with this as well, but really the hail is kind of a secondary threat here at this point in time as the individual cells themselves for areas of rotation continue to track to the northeast.
Yeah, and I just want to relay this report that we received a couple minutes ago of a funnel cloud possibly on the ground near Grand Mound. A reporting party says no longer sees it, but that could be either it's not on the ground anymore or is shrouded in rain. That's going to be the problem with some of these. Now, usually they do form on the leading edge, but that is a report. That's what we're going to see with this. Again, if you're not under a tornado warning, treat this like a tornado warning, as again, we could see these brief spin-ups like what we may have saw there in western portions of Davenport as that was moving through. But nonetheless, Maquoketa, you're about to get into some nasty stuff as well. Northern Bellevue now under a tornado. I don't know if this is a new tornado warning or a trim back one, but Otter Creek to Bellevue, that is approaching. Not seeing an incredible amount of circulation with that, but nonetheless, Bellevue to Galena over towards Elizabeth, shelter now. Andrew, shelter now. Maquoketa, Delmer, Welton over towards Charlotte, Preston, Andover, Thompson, Clinton. Shelter now, get your basements, treat this like a tornado warning. DeWitt, Calamus, you're about to get into some real nasty winds. And let's talk about that real quick, too. We've been focused on the circulation portion of this, but look at some of these winds now. Look at that right there. That's in that little pool of, relatively, in comparison to the line, that pool of winds.
On the left side of your screen. Yeah, I mean, we have no visibility virtually. We still have cars out there, but if you are in the metro area right now, if you're in Cordova, Port Byron, Kelowna, Cleveland, Geneseo, out ahead of this line, do not head west. Do not try to travel right now, because what you're seeing on your screen right now is heading your way right now. So again, we do have a possible tornado in Milan, you said?
And I'm also, Wheatland, I'm going to just say this real quick before we go back down to the metro. Wheatland, shelter now. Calamus, Dixon, over towards Grand Mound. Get to your shelters right now. These are destructive winds, up to 100 miles an hour possible, at least with radar. Again, we are not that far out, but still, please take this seriously. And near Coal Valley, there is a look at that right there. That could be an inflow notch and possible circulation. We are getting reports that there is, at least unconfirmed at this point, of a possible tornado here near Milan right now. And that could be this area right here.
That rotation,
that area of rotation would have already passed here at this point. That'd be closer to the Coal Valley area. That we want to keep a close eye on.
I think
that's right in the center part of
Kelowna,
the Warren Cell. So Kelowna, Carbon Cliff, East Moline, Hampton, Geneseo, you need to be taking cover immediately.
Yes, and you can see some streets here. Just because we're putting your streets on, everybody is going to be impacted by this. We haven't gone too far in because of this reason, and these spin-ups happen so quickly, like we're seeing evolve here as this is cross the river. But Kelowna, Geneseo, Joslyn, shelter now. I-80 into Henry County. Downstream here is looks like a possible new tornado warning here, or updated to that tornado warning we have. So we continue with that. Eventually downstream into Bureau County, eastern portions of Whiteside County. Heads up, this will be making its way into your vicinity. We haven't done a track in a while, and I know we've been focused on these circulations, but I'll put a track on it for our folks out to the east here that will be seeing this moving in here soon, and it continues off to the east at a fast clip here at about 55 to even 60 miles an hour. So those are the times of arrivals.
And we're certainly hearing the rain pelting our building right now. I did get a report from the National Weather Service of about 50-mile-per-hour winds, as well as pea-sized hail out toward the airport in Davenport. So these winds may not be, up to that 60-mile-per-hour threshold, but you see those darker areas of green and light blue shadings here, especially north of the Quad Cities. Kyle was just pointing this out moments ago. Those are areas where we could be talking about those winds up to 60, maybe 70 miles per hour here, right around the Wheatland area. Dixon, Iowa, also seeing those destructive winds possibly as they continue to track off to the northeast. So heads up, Welton and DeWitt, maybe McCausland, could be talking about those damaging wind gusts here within the next 15 to 20 minutes, because these storms are racing to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So Elwood, just about a minute from now, the storm will be at your on deck at 8:07. Parkview 8:12. Delmer around 8:13. DeWitt 8:16. We've got Charlotte at 8:21. Crossing the river into Rock Island County. Cordova at 8:23. Goose Lake 8:25, and Comanche right around 8:29. Again, we're tracking the strongest part of the storm here in extreme northern portions of Scott County near the Dixon area, heading into Clinton County around Wheatland, right along Highway 30. That's where the strongest part of the storm is. I notice Kyle Dickens is popping up the wind velocities being indicated by radar, which is that circle you see at the bottom of your screen. And that's about 15 miles away from the radar site, indicating that we are just above the surface getting 90-mile-per-hour winds. So that's where we have that potential of 70, maybe 80 mile per hour
This is very
winds.
serious. Yeah, we're close enough to the radar, and we're picking up a lot of, we're getting reports of damage in Coyne Center right now. Reports of damage, and we're going to probably hear a lot of damage reports, but look at this. I continue to get these are speckled within this area here of up to 100-mile-an-hour winds being indicated on First Alert Doppler radar. Grand Mound up towards Calamus, DeWitt. Shelter now. Shelter now. Anybody in this line, if you're under this warning, which includes the majority of the central portion along the Mississippi River and roughly 20 miles to 30 miles to the east right now in the TV6 viewing area. Tornado, or we've got the possibility of some tornadoes, but also destructive winds. Continue to watch this circulation just to the east of Cole Valley. Look at that right there, tightening up as it approaches Kelowna.
Yeah, so we're watching this area right there, just south of 280 there on the south side of Kelowna, Illinois. Kelowna, hopefully you're in your shelter area now. Cleveland, Illinois, you need to take shelter. Geneseo, this is just to your west. Again, this is moving very quickly, kind of right along Interstate 80, where we are watching that potential for this circulation that could produce a tornado there. It's right around Briar Bluff Road, where we have that rotation there just south of 280, right along Interstate 80. So this again is heading right along I-80, Route 6 here, heading toward the Geneseo area. Orion, you're getting in on this right about now. So if you're in these areas, you need to take shelter right now. Osborne, 814, Geneseo to be in your neck of the woods at 819, Atkinson, right around 826. And again, this is really an inopportune time, if there ever is an opportune time, but this is a time when many of you are heading to work, getting the kids off to school. Hopefully everything's delayed. If kids are at school, they're likely going to be taking shelter, and we're going to continue to monitor this potential rotation here right around Interstate 80 and 280 in portions of Henry County, Illinois, just to the south of Kelowna. This is where we might have a little bit of weak rotation, and this is similar to what we've been seeing all along this line, are those little kinks here in the radar where we get the rotation. So what we're looking at is the wind inside the storm. When you see the word velocity, that's just a fancy word for the wind. It's indicating how fast that wind is going. So the wind here in red is blowing away from the radar site. The green wind is blowing toward. The good news is we're not seeing a strong side of those inbound winds. So this is not likely a very strong tornado if there is a tornado. But regardless, this is why that tornado warning is in place, because we have that possibility for a tornado to develop really in any given notice.
We're going to go over to Dustin Nolan, who has an update at the news desk right now.
Yeah, Kyle, thank you. Now, we're getting a couple different reports from Coyne Center. We're getting one report that a roof off of Barnes Coyne Center, and there's down power lines as well. So just wanted to give you an update on that.
And that is where this storm that is approaching Kelowna, that was in Coyne Center just about 15 minutes ago. So it's this storm that has now had a history of producing damage that is heading right toward Kelowna. So if you are in Kelowna, if you're watching right now and you're not in your shelter place, go right now, take your cell phone, stream us on your app. We're going to continue to track this storm that has now had a history of doing damage as it continues to the east. Green River there just outside of Kelowna at 811. 812 in Cleveland, Osborne at 814, Zuma at 815, Joslyn there on the north side of this storm just after 815 as these continue to track off to the east and ever so slightly northeast. So Kelowna right now is under the gun for that potential of those winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Again, as Dustin just mentioned, we've had reports of damage in the Coyne Center area. So now we have an observed tornado. So observed tornado now here in portions of Henry and Rock Island County. So we're going to get the details on that. We were just tracking that circulation right around the Kelowna area. So a damaging tornado and half-dollar size hail. This was around 8 o'clock where we saw that observed tornado near the Coyne Center area, tracking off to the east. So this does include Moline, especially on the south side of the city, but really it's now entering into Henry County that we're most concerned about for that tornado that has now been observed and has been doing damage right now in portions of Rock Island County heading into Henry County. So that tornado warning has gone from radar indicated to observed and will continue for about the next 17, 18 minutes until about 8:30. So again,
Moline, East Moline, Silvis, Kelowna, Cole Valley, Orion, Cleveland, Osborne, Warner, Dayton, 8:10 a.m. is the estimated arrival, which is already past that. So please take cover now.
Yes, and it's right there. We just had that scope of the velocity up. It's right around Kelowna, right around that I-80, I-280 interchange here, just to the west there of Kelowna. And again, this radar imagery is potentially a little outdated because these storms are moving so fast. So there we go. We got the update. The strongest winds, that tornado is likely over the Kelowna area right now, right around Cleveland, Cleveland Road, Cleveland itself. That's where we need to be in our shelter place for this tornado. It continues to track off to the east and is heading toward Geneseo. So if you're in Geneseo, this is an observed tornado that did damage in Coyne Center and is continuing to likely do some damage in Kelowna as it continues to track off to the northeast. So here we go. We've got Green River Road likely going to get hit with this tornado that has now been observed doing damage here in portions of Henry County. And there you go. You see how quickly these are moving. Again, highway speeds or close to highway speeds at 50 to 55 miles per hour. Moline, you're likely still getting in on some very, very gusty wind, as well as the Coal Valley area, some blinding rains as well. Stay in your shelter place because these winds could really get pretty gusty as this storm moves through. But again, it's really the Kelowna area right now, Kelowna, Illinois. You need to be in your shelter place as we've had a history of this storm producing a tornado.
Yeah, and I'm working on getting some updates. We've got some information here to the north. Let's go back to the north where we've got this tornado warning continuing here for a little portion of Jackson County. Bellevue area, you need to continue with your tornado precautions right now as this approaches. Going to go take a look at the velocity product here, and a little bit of an inflow notch situation. A little bit more difficult to find up here into this region as we're a little bit further away from the radar, but not to mention Galena, Elizabeth, Scales Mound. You need to be in your shelters now as this destructive line of storms moves through. Continue with that area of very strong winds up to 70 plus miles an hour. Getting ready to approach the Grand Mound to DeWitt, up towards Welton, Charlotte. Moving down the line here, McCausland, Cordova, Port Byron, Joslyn, Cleveland. We continue with this area. If we're not seeing a tornado, what we're seeing here, I'm going to put, this is an interesting little development here as we've got 60 to 70 mile an hour winds here near Kelowna right now. So nonetheless, tornado or not, we've got very strong, very even up to destructive winds moving through that area. This is going to impact Geneseo. This is heading right down I-80 towards Geneseo right now. So if you are in Geneseo, Cleveland, Joslyn, shelter now over towards Atkinson, Anawan. That tornado warning now including the entire county of Henry County. So all of Henry County now in that tornado warning. That was an updated tornado warning there. Moving to the south too, Galesburg, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. We want to watch this because, again, destructive winds up to 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour possible as well. That's what determines it to be considered destructive is once we get to that 80 mark. Heading south of the line though, hey, good news over into Fort Madison up to Burlington. The worst of this is just to your northeast, but a little development there we got to watch near Kirkwood. Look at that little notch there.
Yeah.
And so no warning for that area. So we'll see. We'll put back, I mean, there's a little bit of something there, but we'll have to watch that. And that's the whole deal along this whole line. You see that there, that everything has got that tornado possible tag where you have that severe thunderstorm warning. So even if you're not under a tornado warning, treat it like a tornado warning this morning.
Because we saw how quickly that tornado developed right around Coyne Center, which is right about here, just between Milan and Coal Valley. But now that area of concern here, you can see is just getting into Kelowna, or just east of Kelowna there. So we're going to continue to watch this very carefully. It looks like it's just east of I-74, north of Interstate 80. So Route 6 there, right, heading into Geneseo. This is where we're going to get, at the very least, potentially up to 60, maybe 70 mile per hour winds. This orange area right here over Kelowna, this is where we do have that potential for perhaps 60 mile per hour winds as this continues to track off to the east. And again, it's this storm along the leading edge of that line. We've been getting enough winds going into the storm where we're getting that rotation where we have had a history of that tornado. So that's where we have that observed tag on the tornado, because right around 8 o'clock, we're now at 8:16. That's where we did get that report of that tornado that has now done damage in Coyne Center with at least a rooftop blown off. But I think we've had a couple reports out of Coyne Center of that damage of the tornado. So now we're zooming in here into portions of northern Clinton County as well as into Jackson County, where we have that tornado warning that continues until 8:45. This does include Carroll County. It includes portions of Rock Island, Scott, and Whiteside County as well. So kind of a broad area of this tornado warning. It's radar indicated because along this line here from Macokota, just to the west of Charlotte down toward the west of DeWitt, right there along 61, that's where we have had potentially a few kinks in the line of maybe a little bit of rotation. Not seeing too many many signs here, maybe just to the east of Maquoketa there. But this is where we do have that indication of the potential of a tornado. At the very least, the potential of up to 60-mile-per-hour winds. So that's why we've been saying treat this as if it's a tornado, because even if it's warned for a severe thunderstorm, we can very quickly, within a matter of minutes, get a tornado to spin up.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned earlier, too, it is still pretty nasty here at the station. So this is going to stick around for a little bit, but as we mentioned, too, we've been focused on this observed tornado that is moving into Henry County. When we look up to the north, Cordova, into western portions of Whiteside County. Yeah. This significant storm, LeClaire, it's now moving into the LeClaire area. So Cordova into that northern portion there of Rock Island County. I'm going to look at the velocity scope and see if we can see anything developing there. But
definitely some strong winds at the very least.
Yeah, near Joslyn right now, 63, maybe even 70-mile-an-hour winds there. So, and that's extremely close to the radar. So when we see those, it's a good bet that that's probably making it close to the ground at least. We watch this area that has had a history of producing damage near the Coyne Center area, at least wind damage possible.
Geneseo just lost power.
And Geneseo just lost power as this approaches. You can see that pool of winds up to 70 miles an hour, but this is an area that's going to have to really be watched for circulation. Again, treat this like a tornado warning. It is a tornado warning here, but the whole line, because we're seeing these quick developing circulations happen pretty fast.
You said it right there, Kyle. Took the words right out of my mouth. This is happening very fast. Geneseo is already without power, so I guess with this next update, we're going to see this moving in. I mean, it is possible that we're getting some outflow from this as well with those very strong winds. But where we see these yellows and oranges right here, just north of Route 6 there, heading toward Geneseo, so between Kelowna and Geneseo, likely around the Hazelwood Heights area, that's where we have that potential for those 60-mile-per-hour winds. And again, maybe a tornado with this as well. I think the latest observation was still an observed tornado from that report that we got at 8 o'clock. So spotters are still keeping an eye on this storm as it continues to produce damage as it tracks off to the east. Kevin, do we have any more updates?
We're getting a lot of questions in right now, especially for folks that have been taking shelter here for quite a while. So I'm just going to give some people some all clear. So from Muscatine to Wapello to Mediapolis to Wilton, West Liberty, Bennett, you're run-of-the-mill type showers and storms now. The western part of the Quad Cities, so you think Rock Island, the West Davenport area, you're okay to come out of your shelter. Some folks were asking about Bettendorf and Pleasant Valley. I would still just stay in your shelter here for maybe another couple of minutes and things will really begin to wind down. It's not to say that we're not going to continue with showers and storms. The worst of it, though, is starting to push east of your area. So we're talking Loudon, Dixon, Iowa. Things are starting to calm down there. And especially as you head up north now, as you get into Jackson County, St. Denatus, the Lamont area, things are still rocking and rolling. So yeah, we've been talking about the Galena, Elizabeth, Rice, Guilford, Hanover area. Those folks need to be taking shelter right now as a tornado warn cell is heading in that general direction. So anywhere along this line, you're going to experience anywhere between 60 and 80 miles per hour. Genesis Ambulance reports a tornado in Green River, Illinois.
Oh, that's going to be down in Geneseo.
We need to start maybe taking a closer look at that with that observed tornado.
And while we're doing that, we have a lot of damage being reported in the metro, including right now we got traffic to talk about. Real quick, I-280 at Kimberly, there's an overturned semi blocking the road right now. Rock Island camera.
We've got that pulled up on your screen right now. This is I-280 at Kimberly Road. So looks like they're readjusting the camera. But you did see briefly that we did have that semi that was turned over because of those very strong winds coming in at about 60 miles per hour. So again, right now the main concern here is in Henry County, Illinois, right around the Green River area. So just to the east of, or I should say, yeah, to the east of Kelowna there, right along Route 6 and Interstate 80. That's where we do have that concern of a tornado right where Kyle just circled right there. That's where we have that strong sign of rotation, where we have that observed tornado near Green River. So this is heading right toward Geneseo, which Geneseo is without power. So hopefully you are streaming on your phone. If you know someone from Geneseo, call them up, tell them to pull us up on their stream to keep updated with this storm that now has a tornado there. It looks like right around East 900th Street there and Route 6 there and just north of Interstate 80. That's where we have that rotation with that report of a tornowing spotters have confirmed.
And lifting right now.
Okay. so it's doing that thing where it's cycling, and this is likely what it's done since it hit Coyne Center at about 8 o'clock. So it was about 22 minutes ago that we got that report in Coyne Center of a tornado that did damage. So it's likely been cycled as it continued its eastward track into Kelowna and now heading into Geneseo. So again, Green River, just to the east of Kelowna, that's where we're having that report of that wall cloud that's been cycling and producing a tornado and then going up in the clouds. So still a very strong storm. Again, on the northern side of this storm, we're likely getting some pretty strong wind around Joslyn. 8:24 is when that'll be in your area. Atkinson, Illinois, 8:31. Anawan at 8:37. Again, this is the tornado-warned storm in Henry County, Illinois, that we continue to track as it moves off to the east. And, you know, Kevin, you were kind of giving the all clear to these hometowns. We're giving you the all clear for the severe part of the storm. There's still going to be some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning with it as well. But as these storms continue to move off to the east, we'll continue to monitor the leading edge of it for that worst severe weather. So just to the northwest of Geneseo there, that's where we are indicating that highest area of rotation here. You can kind of see that notch here in the line just to the north of Geneseo, so between Joslyn and Geneseo. That's where we have that concern for a tornado. Again, the latest update here just within the last few minutes was a tornado near Green River, Illinois. And notice even behind that rotation there, right along I-80 and Route 6 between Kelowna and Geneseo, we still have those very strong winds that are going to linger behind the storm. So we could be talking several minutes of winds 50 to 60 plus miles per hour. So heading to the north, Cordova, you're getting a lot of very strong wind as this continues to move into Whiteside County. So heads up even into Clinton County, right around Clinton down to Erie, Thompson, Illinois, Andover, Savannah. You're on deck for these strong winds to move in. Maybe we need to watch for a little rotation between Welton and DeWitt there along Highway 61.
And that is the area specifically right over DeWitt that we're watching for that broad circulation. It's not very well defined. It was much more well defined as it was out to west, but you're seeing what's happening here in Henry County as it doesn't take much to get these to, we're not looking for those big prominent signatures like what we were seeing unfortunately occur out. And we got a new update here on radar. But yeah, within Geneseo, it's over top of you right now. The most significant portion of this is now walking its way into town as we speak with that newest update there. And again, as you're watching this, you might be streaming us. This is maybe a minute or two delayed because it's just natural with latency with internet. But I'm going to back things out. Galesburg, you're starting to get into some damaging winds now as well. Downstream into the eastern portions of the TV6 viewing area, we're going to put this track on and give you an update on when you can expect this to move through, because I know people out in Princeton have been messaging me, what time is it going to be moving in? Sterling Rock Falls, same deal. Well, there you go. Morrison, 8:30, Kewanee, 8:36, about 10 minutes Kewanee, West Point, Sterling, Princeton, about the top of the hour and towards Amboy, and then eventually LaSalle, Peru. So those are the time of arrivals right now. We're getting a lot of damage reports here into the TV6 newsroom, and that is because from either a possible tornado or destructive winds. Looking up the line here to the north towards Galena. Galena, this significant portion of the storm has moved through or is moving through right now, but we want to watch this. This area continues with a tornado warning here for the Bellevue area, but does look like we might be seeing a little bit of a strengthening deal here near Bellevue. And the one thing to notice too is you always kind of a good indication is where you see that big spike in lightning, and just to the west of Bellevue we're noticing that. So that's a strong part of that storm right there.
We're extending that tornado warning now into Whiteside and Bureau County until 9:15. Not surprised there with the observed tornado on the ground between Cleveland and Geneseo.
Yeah, and actually I'm going to point something out here because excuse me, what I'm noticing here too is what looks to be just to the southeast of Joslyn here. Look at that right there. See that that's a developing inflow notch just right there, not to mention what we've had go through the Geneseo area, or now walking its way into Geneseo. So northwestern portion of Bureau County, just to the west, and it probably should include Walnut. So if you're in Walnut, take your tornado precautions now. But Atkinson, Anawan, just to the north of Kewanee. So Kewanee, you're not technically under the tornado warning, but we continue to watch several pockets of circulation. But notably here, just to the southeast of Joslyn, that area right there is what we're watching. Also into Whiteside County too. This does now include I believe this is going to include, does that include Sterling on that?
Or just to the south?
Okay, that's the line right there. So just to the southeast of Provincetown. Provincetown, you're in between two tornado warnings there, so I'd still take shelter. But just to the northwest of Atkinson right there. And within this line, several pockets of rotation moving through Geneseo as we speak.
And just an update on that newly issued tornado warning for portions of Henry County heading into Bureau County and Whiteside County. Well, as we just spoke, you saw that yellow box pop up. That severe thunderstorm warning has been extended into Bureau County for that possible tornado, as well as winds 60 to 70 miles per hour. But that tornado was spotted about 12 miles east of East Moline near Shady Beach, moving off to the east at about 50 miles per hour. So again, this does not give you a lot of time to react. So if you're in Atkinson, I would say even into Walnut, you need to be taking shelter right now, as this is a very dangerous storm that has had a history now of producing a tornado that has caused some damage. So we're going to continue to track this storm as it moves off to the east. It'll be in Garden Plain around 8:29, Erie at 8:32, Morrison there in Whiteside County, in northern part of that storm, 8:37, Kewanee 8:41, Tampico 8:46, Sterling 8:51, Bradford 8:58, and Princeton, Illinois there right around 9 o'clock. Again, we're telling you these times at 8:27. Do not wait until these specific times that we just called out, because again, these are moving very quickly at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. And this storm here in portions of Henry County has had that history of producing a tornado. So we're going to continue to monitor this as well. We'll go back to the radar. I'm going to take you out a little more here to show that Clinton, you're on deck to get some pretty strong wind. Galena, you're getting that strong wind as well as these storms continue to plow off to the east. Looks like we're getting some strengthening there in right around the Burlington area. Maybe not necessarily severe, but certainly quite a bit of heavy rain and lightning. But again, it's the storm in Henry County that we are most concerned about right now for that tornado that has been confirmed. Looks like just to the north of the Geneseo area. So we'll get a closer look at this storm here. Go over to velocity. And right over Geneseo, that's where we are seeing that very gusty wind. Looks like maybe just north of Geneseo, we are seeing that highest potential for rotation. Not seeing a strong sign of a very strong rotation, but certainly between Geneseo and Joslyn there along Ebenezer Road, that's where we have that possibility. Kyle's also pointing out some concern here a little farther to the south near Woodhall.
Yeah, look at that.
That is definitely an indication of not only some strong wind, but the possibility here of some rotation there just to the south of Woodhall, just east of I-74, north of Ontario. That's where we have a pretty good indication of some rotation. So it's north of Geneseo, between Hillsdale, Illinois, as well as Geneseo, as well as around Woodhall and Ontario there in portions of Henry and Knox County.
A couple things here. We've got Rock Island County Sheriff reports lots of damage. They can't talk to us right now because they are too busy to give us any more information than that. So Rock Island County Sheriff is reporting confirmed structural damage right now. Also getting reports of nearly 6,000 customers in the Quad City Metro without power right now. So that's according to Mid-American. Sirens going off.
They're going to continue to go off.
Yeah.
If any sliver of your county is under a tornado warning, they're going to go off. So for western parts of Scott County, I'm not concerned anymore about severe weather for you, but sirens are still going to go off because the eastern part of the county is still under a tornado warning. So West Davenport, we should see improving conditions here in the Quad Cities Metro. Not to say that we're not going to see rain and storms. We're just not seeing the severe stuff like they're now transitioning to areas near Geneseo and east of there as well.
Yep, and that's, you know, as you chime in, a lot of people are asking that question right now. So Kevin nailed it right there. So yes, the sirens are going off in the metro, and that's because of these. It's for the county, it's not for the city. But the most significant portion of this is now east of the metro Quad Cities into Henry County. Geneseo, this continues to move through. And I wonder if we're having a little delay.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that as well.
Yeah, because I think regardless here, let's talk about what we've got. So these are your communities that are in the path of this observed tornado. You see that bar's pink. That means that there has been a tornado confirmed. We've got confirmed damage. Rock Island County, we've got up to 6,000 customers without power just in the metro, according to Mid-American. So heading out to the east here, this is that tornado warning now for the northern, probably the northern 3/4 of Henry County, and then also northwestern chunk of Bureau County, including Tampico here into portions of Whiteside County there as well. So this is is the area that's affected. We've got several inflow notches. We're getting several reports of tornadoes. And unfortunately, as this line continues to track off to the east, now that the sun is up, naturally we're starting to add a little bit of fuel to the fire with this, so to speak, as this has been a long duration event. This thing started out into western Iowa and continues on. But Atkinson, Hoople, down towards Anawan, Shelter now, New Bedford, Neponsit, Neponsit just to your north, but Sheffield as well. We got a new tornado warning, looks like, there for parts of Joe Daviess County.
Yeah, we've got extreme eastern portions of Jackson County heading into Joe Daviess County. This is right around Bellevue, heading toward Elizabeth and Stockton. So if you're in those areas, now is your time to seek shelter there along Highway 20. This is a radar indicated tornado. So again, along this line, we have been seeing those inflow notches. So it looks like just to the east of Bellevue, this is where we have most concern of that potential of a tornado just east of the Mississippi River. Might have a little more rotation just west there of the Highway 20 corridor. So a couple areas of rotation that we are concerned about right along the Mississippi River and points just to the east. So if you are in these areas, you need to take your shelter right now.
Okay, this is a pretty significant deal here. On the I-80 bridge, they are saying that there are patients on the ramp. Caller says I-80 bridge is blocked due to a crash. So we've been talking about this, since yesterday. This is
Fortunately, the traffic camera is down right now.
Okay, so we can't see what's going on there, but do not, if you're in eastern portions of the TV6 viewing area east of the river, we continue with a very significant situation as, and you hear that right there. What could that be? That could be from the wind damage. That could be from, it could be from the heavy rainfall, maybe some hydroplaning situation. So travel's not advised anywhere right now, especially east of the river. You can see this is the areas that we expect to see that this storm walking into your hometowns here. So Kewanee, within the next 10 minutes or so, you'll start to see this, but down towards West Point, Sterling, Princeton, just past the top of the hour into central portions of Bureau County. Eastern portions of Bureau County, say Spring Valley up towards Mendota there in LaSalle County. That's going to be closer to the 9:30 hour. And then here's the deal. Once this walks out of the viewing area and we're done with this, depending on how much sunshine we could see, get ready for round two. We could see some redevelopment come this afternoon and potentials there for damaging winds and tornadoes. So significant situation today unfolding here as we have several reports of damage and tornadoes within the viewing area right now.
And Kyle, you were mentioning our environment becoming more favorable for these storms to sustain. We just got a brand new tornado warning that is going to be issued for a pretty significant area because we have had reports now of some pretty strong rotation over Atkinson there in Henry County. So we're going to continue with these tornado warnings. So if you are in the Atkinson area, there's been some reports here of some rotation. Again, might have a little bit of a delay in the radar here, but you get the idea that this storm in Henry County, Illinois has been one that has been producing tornado. The latest report we got was from near the Green River area. So this has had a history of doing damage as it continues to track off to the east in an environment that has not been really tapped with any rainfall here this morning. So these storms could continue strengthening as they track off to the east. So we're working on a new tornado warning that is going to be issued here relatively shortly for this line of storms that continues to rush east.
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see here. We've got, one thing I'm noticing here too, as this continues to move off to the east, we've got little bits, these little pockets of rotation now starting to really increase here. This is interesting to see because, we have pictures out of Coyne Center. Let's take a look at those, and you can see what damage is being reported out there with some roof structural damage to a building there, and you can see the police and fire certainly on site as well.
Yeah, so this was the initial report that we had of that damage in Coyne Center, and that was from a confirmed tornado that headed east toward Kelowna, heading into Green River and the Geneseo area as well. So you can certainly see that emergency responders are going to be very busy. Hopefully no one was injured out of this. We haven't heard of any injuries or anything like that, but it's we're working to learn some more information here on the ongoing situation there in Coyne Center, as we had a tornado reported right about 8 o'clock. So that was about 35 minutes ago or so, and that portion of the storm is now well to the east of Coyne Center. They're still dealing with some moderate to heavy rainfall, but right now the concern is over Geneseo as well as Atkinson. So we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on this tornado that has been observed here. This tornado warning does go until 9:15 for portions of central and northern Henry County, heading into western Bureau County and southeastern Whiteside County. And again, I believe the National Weather Service is working on a new tornado warning to pass along to you as well.
Yeah, it looks like that new tornado warning will bring it all the way into Bureau County, also including Sterling Rock Falls as well. So we take a look, just getting some new information too of some of the damage. Lots of damage being reported into the newsroom. We'll probably check in with Dustin here in a minute to see what the latest is there. But Princeton to Kewanee up towards Sterling Rock Falls, things are going to start to deteriorate here pretty quickly, including eastern portions of Henry County. Also get reports of some damage in Clinton. So the northern extent of this line, I know we've been focused on the metro and that area along I-80, but also up towards Clinton and Savannah get some reports of damage.
Yes, and again, we want to give you a wider view here because, you know, virtually all the TV6 viewing area being impacted by this line of severe storms with embedded tornado warnings in it. Again, the only observed tornado we're concerned about right now is that circulation that we have in Henry County, just to the north of Geneseo there, where we've had a history of that storm producing a tornado with some damage. But anywhere we see this line of storms, even down toward southern counties in our viewing area, Knox, Henderson, Warren County, we are concerned about 50 to 60 mile-per-hour winds with that as well. Galesburg, you're likely getting inundated with this storm right as we speak. So right around Oneida, that area, we're going to be talking about some strong winds. Altona, you're going to get in on this as well. Kewanee, Galva, you need to be on guard for those storms to produce the 60 mile-per-hour winds. But again, right now, our main concern here is in Henry County, where we do have that observed tornado. We'll take a look at the velocity right now. And again, looks like we might have
yeah, I was going to say, let's pop on base
issues.
velocity, because I think it's been able to pick those up just a little bit. Well, I say that.
Yeah, not really, but definitely some strong wind behind that main line there. So,
but near Hoople, I've been noticing this little notch forming
right
there. Yeah. So just that's going to be the deal here. Not to mention, as you right here, I think is a good picture because you can see that pool of destructive winds that are moving. Confirmed at this point that when we see structural damage and also unconfirmed reports of there was a radio tower that fell into Rock Island County. Not sure where it's kind of a raw report there, but did see the picture of that. That takes a lot of power to knock down something like that. But right there, that whole pool over top of Geneseo right now of up to maybe 70, maybe even 80 mile-an-hour winds. But then also this circulation here just to the west of Hoople. This area is under a tornado warning. We continue with that observed tornado tag on this, and I'm sure they're probably going to let that ride for a little bit as we've had that continue. But there's that new tornado warning that now includes all of Clinton, or excuse me, all of Whiteside County, all of Carroll County into Joe Davies County, so Savannah over towards Sterling Rock Falls. Sterling Rock Falls sirens are now going off in town from some viewers. So this does include you now, so there's the information here. So Carroll, Clinton, Jackson, Joe Davies, Stevenson, Whiteside counties. This in effect until, look at that time, 9:30. Tornadoes possible with this all throughout this line. It's not just one confined area like we see with the supercells when the single storm fires up. We're going to get these things to pop up all along this line. And as this continues to move to the east, the ingredients for tornadoes are actually a little bit higher. The Storm Prediction Center just put out a new outlook and has put that area in a level 3 risk. And Kyle, as we were mentioning earlier, these are producing some very heavy rains as well. We've got from Scott County Emergency Management reports of water standing on the I-74 Iowa bound with a stalled car. We also have reports of debris blocking the roadway in Bettendorf on 18th Street and Lincoln Road. So now that these storms are starting to pass, we're starting to see some reports flow in. So again, there is history of damage with this line of storms. Right now for that new tornado warning for portions of Carroll, Clinton, Jackson, Joe Davies, and Whiteside County, that goes until 9:30, has that potential to produce maybe larger than quarter-size hail. We've got the times of arrival on your screen: 8:44 in Savannah, Morrison at 8:48, Mount Carroll 8:53, Lanark around 9:02, and then Buffalo there in Illinois just outside the viewing area at 9:09. Okay, and we are getting reports, and this is going to be the deal all day today. We'll be talking about reports of damage, but reports of damage in the Bettendorf area as well. So this continues to head off to the east. So as Kyle mentioned there, those communities, if you live there, take shelter now. Anywhere east of the river, continue with your tornado precautions. The one thing to note here, I can say now, if you're in the Iowa Quad Cities, you are now, the most significant portion of the storm is now into the Illinois side. So most of the Iowa communities, with the exception up to the north here, into Clinton County, Jackson County, up into portions of Dubuque County, crossing the river there. West of the river, we're starting to see things clear up, but still heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning with that. But now to the east, and you can see as things continue to progress on, this chunk we got from Kewanee up towards the Galena area, tornado warnings. Still continue with that observed tag there, Kyle, for that tornado warning here for Bureau, Henry, and Whiteside County until 9:15. So, again, we continue to watch areas of circulation. This has been that storm. This portion of the storm has been the one that we have seen these circulations pop up here. And as we zoom in here, and you can see these little notches here, and how it gets kind of it's not as well defined as it was when it was moving into the metro. And this is not a good thing. This is opens it up to more inflow and more rotation. Got to watch their south of Anawan there. But all these pockets of rotation and south of Cambridge there too. This is the deal. They pop up fast. They can drop, cause damage, and lift before the time is there to issue the warning and get it out to you. So the best thing to do is just issue a tornado warning for the whole thing. We don't have a specific area right now that we're tracking a tornado or debris signature. It's just all throughout this line. Moving to the north here too, we don't want to lose focus of Joe Davies County, Stockton into areas into Scales Mound as well. This is pretty notable, being this far away from the radar, being able to see this. The red is winds moving into the storm. It's that inflow. And then you get those greens, especially down there south of Elizabeth. Let's go to Chestnut. We can see a picture from Chestnut Mountain, see what kind of what things look like there. And you can see deteriorating conditions there as that activity has moved in. Once you start to see the rain, that wind has now probably moved through that area. So we go back to radar. We can show what we've got here. But again, Elizabeth over towards the Rush area, eastern portions of Joe Davies County, down the pike here into Carroll County. Carroll County, you've kind of left, haven't had much happen yet, but this is now getting ready to move into Carroll County. So from Savannah up to the Cherry Grove, Milledgeville, Thompson, you're now seeing this move through here, this tornado warning. A big area that's covered by this tornado warning until 9:30 a.m. But the one thing to notice, look at that right towards Thompson, we see these big spikes in lightning. That shows that core is gaining some strength there. So we have to watch that area right there.
And it's the environment that we're in, Kyle. You know, now that the sun's coming up, we're getting a little more energy. That the possibility of a tornado is there, which is why the National Weather Service has gone out and put that tornado warning in place. Again, that new tornado warning goes until 9:30 here for these areas. Notice this is radar indicated, so we haven't had any confirmation of a tornado in these areas, but given the environment we're in, there could be some brief spin-ups there along that leading edge of the line. Kevin, I don't know, have you seen any updates on the Henry County tornado lately?
I have not, but it looks like it's cycling here a tiny bit. I'm getting some reports here on our chat with some of the viewers saying that there might be some rotation now out near Clinton. Okay. Pretty much anywhere along this leading line. Just treat it, we've been kind of saying this all morning, but treat it as such, as that there's going to be a tornado warning associated with it. And even just chatting here with the National Weather Service, going back and forth on some of these. Typically, we don't issue these widespread tornado warnings like we have this morning, but with these touching the ground and going up and down every 30 seconds, we just have to do that. So areas in northwest Illinois, you're talking from Carroll to Joe Davies County, I would just seek shelter at the moment, especially as you get out towards Hanover, Elizabeth, Woodbine as well, near Stockton. Things are certainly starting to go downhill. Now, from preemption and areas back to the west, Mediapolis, Edgington, Keithsburg, things are winding down. You can come out of your shelter here at the moment. For those asking about a second round of storms, once this lifts out of the area, if we get some sunshine, we could have another wave of scattered severe storms. This is not going to be as widespread as like what we're dealing with here at the moment. So that one's more conditional on what's happening here right now. So just sit tight and of course keep it here with TV6 throughout the day, and we're going to continue to monitor the situation. But it's really going to be this severe thunderstorm warnings and that tornado possible tag pretty much on every single morning here moving forward. So from Bishop Hill out there near the wind farm, you got Galva. You should be taking cover at this time. Right there along Highway 34, things are certainly going to deteriorate. Of course, we have eyes specifically on that cell. Looks like out near Grange Road and Atkinson Road. We're certainly seeing that tornado on the ground now out near just south of Hoople. So that's exactly what we're looking at right there, Kyle.
Yes, I was just going to say that's the area this tornado warning continues for Bureau, Henry, and Whiteside County. Right there is the area that we're watching. You can see this is what most likely is the latest development here, getting reports of possible tornado. I don't know what the delay was in that report, but I did have somebody message me that said that they have eyes on a lowering and possible funnel and possible tornado just outside of Hoople. And I'm thinking that that's going to be it right there near County Road. Let's see, that's County Highway 22 right now. So
right around Illinois 78 is where that tornado was reported.
Okay, so this will be walking into Bureau County here momentarily. So if you're in Bureau County, move to your shelter. We've been warning you for quite some time here. This will now be moving into portions of northwestern Bureau County. All of Bureau County, all of Whiteside County, you're going to see significant storms, destructive storms. The damaging wind threat still exists along this whole line, but we're noticing these pockets of significant rotation. They quickly form and quickly drop a tornado, and that's what Kevin Phelps mentioned there, why they issued such a broad tornado warning.
And, you know, unfortunately, I think we are, as far as reflectivity goes, I think we're having a delay here. So that's pretty unfortunate right now. But again, our biggest concern right now is this rotation here just south of Hoople. We did get a report from emergency management of at least a brief tornado just south of Hoople there along Illinois 78. So not seeing, maybe right around Wisely Road could be seeing some of that rotation. It's not as defined, it wasn't well defined to begin with, but it's not as defined as what it is right now. But this is the storm that we've been tracking that's had a history of producing a tornado really for the last 45 minutes or so. It was around 8 o'clock that we got that confirmation of a tornado in Coyne Center there in portions of Rock Island County, and that has now made its way eastward into eastern portions of Henry County, heading into northwestern portions of Bureau County. And still between Geneseo and Atkinson there along Route 6, Interstate 80 toward Anawan, that's where we are likely still getting 50 to 60 mile per hour winds as well. And not to mention there is that potential for a little bit of hail as well. So we're going to continue to track this storm here in portions, eastern portions of Henry County heading into Bureau County, southeastern Whiteside County also included in that tornado warning. We're also keeping a close eye on that newest tornado warning for Carroll, Clinton, Jackson, Joe Davies, and Whiteside County. Again, it's along the leading edge of these storms that we are most concerned about for that potential of a tornado. Otherwise, if it's not a tornado, it's definitely the 60 mile per hour winds and the hail that we are also concerned about.
Yeah, and we have got, I guess, some viewers near the Sterling area asking where is it in conjunction with Sterling, and it is coming. It's almost there. In fact, what we can do here is, here's Sterling Rock Falls right here. Actually, I was just looking at this with another radar, but look at that area right there, just to the southwest of Morrison. See that? That could be a potential circulation developing there. That would be heading right up I-88. You see these communities here, Morrison, it's on top of you right now. Down towards Chadwick, Sterling Rock Falls here, about top of the hour, about 9 o'clock. So dangerous situation continues to unfold as this continues to move to the east. Again, the ingredients, unfortunately, are continuing to increase in some cases as we move this line to the east. But Prophetstown, this is now moving into town here. So dangerous storm moving up into Carroll County. Here we want to make sure we touch you folks as well. Mount Carroll to Chadwick, also up towards Milledgeville. Get ready. This is moving into town. Beautiful pictures coming in of, it's beautiful in the sense of imagery, but the shelf cloud is absolutely stunning to see. People out east are sending a lot of those pictures and appreciate those reports. Up to the north too into Joe Davies County, we continue with that tornado warning through Stockton, now moving through the Elizabeth area here. So some area that I've been watching here just outside of Scales Mound, east of Elizabeth as well, heading towards Stockton. We continue with a couple little pockets of circulation there, but still, anytime you see that far out, that's almost outside of the warning area for the National Weather Service, and we still pick those up. That's pretty concerning. So Highway 20 there, that is where those couple pockets of circulation moving through Joe Davies County. Back to the south here into Henry County. Let's see what we got there, because continue to get lots of reports.
It looks to be just east there of Atkinson, between Atkinson and Hoople, and we're starting to see some higher radar or base velocity returns as a storm to storm relative velocity.
Oh yeah, look at that.
You see that really picking up.
So that is that's not good, and what we're seeing here is probably if we start queering some of those, I bet you we're into the 70-mile-an-hour range, because a broader area here of these, and there we go, 67 miles per hour there. So Atkinson to Anawan, we have these damaging to destructive winds now moving down I-80. So again, we've said this all morning long. You should not be out traveling in this. If you're heading west out of Princeton, you don't have many places to pull off there. Get off, let this thing pass through. But look at that. Yeah, Kevin, that's a great point. Look at how this is expanding as it moves to the east. I know we're getting a little bit higher up with radar, but still that shows maybe some strengthening and more destructive winds in a more wide area too, from Prophetstown down towards Anawan. So, hey, downstream Princeton, Princeton into Walnut, over towards Ohio, Illinois, up into Tampico, as well as Neponset, Sheffield, New Bedford, some of those communities out in northwestern portions of Bureau County. Everybody is going to see this activity in Bureau County, eastern portions of Whiteside County. We've got a little bit more time as this thing is going to continue to walk through. Again, we continue with those tornado warnings. There's several tornado warnings up and down this line, but Princeton specifically there, that'll be moving in about 9:12 roughly, so about top of the hour here.
So yeah, there's the latest track of the strongest part of the storms that we're tracking right now in portions of Whiteside, Henry into Bureau County, Illinois. Neponset, this will be just a few minutes away, 8:54. Tampico at 9:55. Sterling Rock Falls, 9 o'clock roughly. Walnut, Illinois, 9:05. Princeton, 9:12, as Kyle was mentioning. Dover at 9:15. 8:21 around Amboy, and then the Spring Valley area just before 9:30. So now is the time to take shelter. We've had a history of damage reports coming out of the Quad Cities Metro, as well as into southern portions of Rock Island County, and I would imagine we're going to start to get some reports out of Henry County as well. Several thousands of power outages have been reported.
We're getting reports of possible tornado on the ground in the Clinton and Fulton area right now. Let's go up to that. Again, tornado
warning. Is it a confirmed report?
It's just a viewer report. We don't have anything confirmed with it, but it would coincide with that tornado warning. It's really on the west or eastern edge there of Clinton County.
And here's an update
coming over on the other side of the river.
Yeah, so it's going to be somewhere, and that makes sense because, again, what we're watching with radar here is we get these reds, that's the wind moving into the storm, that's the inflow, and the green is wind moving out of the storm, but maybe somewhere in this area here from Clinton to Andover over towards Thompson, Fulton, you should be in your shelters. This warning has been out for quite some time, but we could have a developing situation there. So we continue with when you see the red banner there, that's a radar indicated tornado. So we continue with that. But when we drop to the south and we see it turn pink, or actually I think they still continue with that observe tag on that Bureau County storm.
I believe so. I believe we're still. Oh no, this is just
so it's radar indicated. But we're gonna have a hard time, I think, with any spotters on this, because you get these the way this line is. You get these spin ups to happen. They can be shrouded in rain where you're not going to see it until it's on top of you. So you don't go out and chase this. That's the biggest thing too, I think we need to mention as well. Great to see pictures if it's coming towards you and you have time to move in and move to shelter. Don't go out and chase this, because there's nowhere to go besides east out of its way. Again, not to mention the potential for that tornado, but the destructive winds that continue with this, confirmed 70 to 80. And when we see these structural damage pictures, I'm assuming that some of those 90 to 100 mile an hour winds that we were picking up on First Alert Doppler radar probably was actually making it to the ground. So we continue with the severe thunderstorm warning also down to the south here. Galesburg, that significant portion of that line has moved through, so 60 to 70 mile an hour winds with that particular storm, and the tornado possible tag continues.
Yeah, we got a confirmed tornado on the ground continuing in Henry County now at the intersection of Route 92 and 78.
Okay.
That's from a storm spotter.
So this is near Hoople.
This is, yeah, that's going to be, I was going to say, that area that we continue to watch here. If we pop velocity, the base velocity on there, we could probably see, I'm assuming.
It's that little appendage right there.
Yeah, it's probably going to be right, it's getting ready to cross into Bureau County. So Walnut, New Bedford, you folks out into, even up towards Neponset, I'd say all this area here. So right there, New Bedford down to Neponset, Sheffield. Shelter now, move to your basements. This is a confirmed tornado, confirmed by trained spotters. I'm assuming we'll see this box turn pink here in a second as we got that information in here. But again, outside of that, these little circulations and these confirmed tornadoes that drop, out in the center portion of this storm between Atkinson and Anawan, we're picking up winds, and I'm sure we can probably pop those on there. They look at 66, close to 70 miles an hour. With the reports that we are seeing, we are confirming this they're definitely making it to the ground. So structural damage being reported in the metro and to the south. So we continue to watch that. So one thing too, Dustin Nolan, do we have any updates on power outages? We can, didn't mean to throw you off there. We can come to you here in a second, but we'll check on power outages. Continuing from north to south, look at this line, and it continues to be a pretty strong deal here as it moves through into our eastern counties. Western portions of the viewing area, I would say from the Iowa Quad Cities down towards Louisa County, Burlington, Mount Pleasant, you're starting to clear out. The most significant portion of this is now to the east. Dustin Nolan with an update.
Yeah, Cal. On the Quad City, Illinois, according to Mid-American Energy, we have a little more than 4,500 people without power on the Quad City, Illinois side. On the Quad City, Iowa side, there's about 210, so not as many as there, so it's definitely improved on the Iowa side. But again, those are the power outages according to Mid-American Energy.
Okay, great. Let's go back to radar because I think Kyle's got this pinned down pretty well, and we can see where this tornado, again, reports are from trained weather spotters. We have a confirmed tornado near the Hoople area right now. You see these roads here. Again, just because we have it in this area, we're telling you that, but anywhere in this line, we're watching these circulations form very quickly. But notably, in this specific area has been all throughout this line. It's been pretty much confined to this region. So near the Hoople area here down County Highway, is that County Road 22 there to the east, moving into Bureau County.
So yeah, the latest report 3 minutes ago at 8:53 was spotter reports that tornado at the intersection of Route 92 and 78 there in Henry County.
Okay, so yeah, so from Atkinson, Anawan into, this is just to your north here. This is moving into Bureau County. The biggest concern is going to be New Bedford. You're next up in this, but also you can see just off to the screen here, Walnut. Right there, there we go. Walnut right there. This will be moving into Walnut, but yeah, you could tell these little notches, even down here towards Kewanee. We want to watch that because this is certainly concerning, especially given that we aren't seeing any weakening with the velocity, and we're seeing some spikes in lightning as well. But and there we go, observed tornado. Yep, so we've had it here first. So that warning updated from the National Weather Service. We now have a confirmed tornado with this as it moves into Bureau County. Also portions still not out of the woods here into portions of Whiteside County. I think that includes the Tampico area here in the southeastern portions of Whiteside County. But Kyle's got a great track on this as it's moving down, pretty much down the pike here, kind of following I-80. It's going to be right into central Bureau County, northern parts of Bureau County here momentarily. But Walnut Shelter now. Here's the communities: Mineral, New Bedford, Normandy, Walnut. The power plant probably there in Princeton, I'm assuming where that's being picked up. But Princeton, 920. Again, give this about 5 to 10 minutes either way because we see this line speed up and slow down here. But confirmed tornado now walking its way into Bureau County. If you live in northwestern portions of Bureau County, shelter now into your basements. Again, we have a confirmed tornado near the Hoople area here. So Walnut and New Bedford, shelter now. This is where we have that area of circulation and possible tornado.
And Kyle, I know we're having a very difficult time here finding that circulation on radar, but that was just to the north of Hoople where that tornado was spotted. So it's north of Hoople, like you said, heading into portions of Bureau County where we're most concerned. Again, we're not really getting strong signs of any rotation on our velocity product, but we've had trade spotters that have confirmed that tornado again at about 8:51.
Yeah, actually right
of that. So it's probably just now getting into the Bureau County area.
Yeah, so right here. Yeah, so this is the Bureau County. This is the Bureau County line right here. But this is the area of circulation here. Here's Hoople, just to the east. So hey, New Bedford, shelter now. Deer Grove over towards Tampico, shelter now. Walnut as well. Technically, Walnut, you're not in the tornado warning, but this is heading beeline, center line for Walnut. So shelter now, Walnut, up into, again, southeastern portions of Whiteside County right now. Confirmed tornado here, and we got that, again, observed tornado tag. But the way that looks, there definitely could be several little pockets of rotation within just this confined area, not to mention this whole line. Anywhere that's warned, you need to take this and treat this like a tornado warning right now.
And these severe thunderstorms have been tagged with that tornado possible because of situations like this, where these storms are rotating and kind of cycling with whether or not there's a tornado on the ground. So these tornadoes may touch down for a few seconds, go back up into the sky, and then touch down again here with the inflow coming into these storms out ahead of it, because we've got a pretty unstable environment.
Yeah, and you see those spikes in green there right out ahead of it, and a little bit harder to tell. There we go. that could just be enough to show what we're seeing here as we have a lot of turbulence on the front of this. But New Bedford over towards Tampico. Tampico, it's over top of you right now, so you're seeing the most significant portion of the storm. Possible tornado in that vicinity, Deer Grove, and then eventually walking its way into northern portions of Bureau County here. We have that confirmed tornado now near the Hoople area. This is going to be east of Hoople now, I think I would say probably 2 to 3 miles outside of New Bedford. New Bedford, you should be in your basements right now. Also up in towards here, I know that there's some other communities. Sheffield, you're in this tornado warning technically, so you folks as well should be taking your tornado precautions. See Princeton and Dover, Malden, those communities, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but nonetheless, treat this like a tornado warning because this line has had history of producing and dropping tornadoes very quickly, but destructive winds up to 70 miles per hour are still noted within this line, and that's something I'm going to check here if we still have that, if we're still going with 70 miles per hour on those warnings, or if we've...
Between 60 and 70,
60 and 70.
And the pace is starting to pick up too at around 60 miles per hour for storm movement, so hopefully kind of outrunning some of the better intensity for these storms to tap into. I just want to kind of throw this out there. Iowa counties, you're essentially all clear now with severe weather. Getting inundated with questions about the metro areas in Jackson County. You're all clear now. You're good to come out of your basement. You are going to continue with rounds of showers and storms this morning, but those will be below severe limits.
Yeah, the one thing, Kevin, you bring up a good point here because as this moves to the east here, look at the lightning on this. Lightning is always a good indicator if we're seeing strengthening or weakening. It's been kind of oscillating a little bit, but notably the lightning has kind of started to wind down a little bit, but the one area where we're still seeing quite a bit of lightning is right here in that observed tornado, or where we've had the observed tornado here moving into portions of northwestern Bureau County. You can see that pool of lightning, I mean not a ton of lightning, but from Hoople to Anawan and to the east here. So New Bedford, your communities, these communities in northwestern Bureau County from near Neponsit, we'll include Neponsit in this warning, Sheffield area up to the north here as Kyle Keel draws out a line that's going to take it into the Tisqua and Princeton area as well. So you could see those communities there. So Mineral, this is your time of arrival. It's right about now. And as we approach the 9 o'clock hour, just want to let you know you're watching KWQC, TV6 News, Davenport, Iowa. I'm meteorologist Kyle Dickens, along with Kyle Keel and Kevin Phelps, as we watch these continued tornado warnings here in the eastern portion of the viewing area that unfortunately caused a lot of damage here in the metro and many other areas. But communities here listed, Princeton at right about 9:20. We've been pretty set on that time there. Malden here as well. So this continues to move into portions of Bureau County, Whiteside County, and then probably to the north too. I think we still have those additional tornado warnings as well.
We do, yes. We continue with that tornado warning for another 28 minutes or so until 9:30 for Carroll, Jackson, Joe Davies, and Whiteside County. No confirmation of a tornado, but certainly we've had little kinks along that leading edge of the line where we do have that rotation for that potential tornado. But again, with these storms, as we've been mentioning, 60-mile-per-hour winds are a possibility as these continue to race off to the east at about 50 miles per hour or so. Again, it's really all of our counties here across the viewing area are certainly getting hit by this line of storms that continues to plow off to the east. Again, as we've been mentioning, the Quad Cities Metro, our Iowa counties clear of any severe weather, but we still have some thunderstorms ongoing. We've got the lightning overlaid as well. You can see some strikes just west of the Quad Cities back toward Muscatine, Tipton, Rochester, seeing some lightning as well. So we're still going to get some rain, which is unfortunate because we've heard of the damage, and I know people are itching to get out and take a look at the damage and make sure everything's okay. But we still have some thunder and lightning out there as well, which, as we know, lightning can be a pretty big hazard in itself.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to note here as we look at that lightning, as you can see, yeah, the front of this line has been the focus, but even back here, look at, we got some lightning popping up in towards Muscatine as a pool of rain, heavy rainfall too, it looks like on the back end of this. So we continue to watch that. But down to the south here, south of Galesburg, we're not quite to severe limits, but still strong storms moving through. If you're just joining us out here to the east into Bureau County, you're probably hearing those sirens going off into some of our communities, say Princeton and other areas within that. It's because we have not only a destructive wind situation here, as we had 60 to 70, at times 80, so considerable damage to what we consider destructive at 80, but also that confirmed tornado that walked its way into a few minutes ago was near the Hoople area, but moving into Bureau County. So New Bedford, that was heading towards you. Walnut, Illinois as well. You should be sheltering now as that is approaching. We'll see if we get an extension on that tornado warning. If we do still have eyes on that, we will certainly see an extension of that. But definitely within this line, the area here into Bureau County, southern Whiteside County is the most significant at this time. Again, we want to watch because it doesn't take much to regenerate that a little bit.
And Kyle, you know, we were talking about a potential tornado in the Clinton area. Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland said that he got a viewer report, or I should say Kevin Phelps, rather. I'm sorry, Kevin Phelps.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I'm logged in under his.
Well, hey, that's great. It's great that we're getting the information any way we get it. But that was Kevin Phelps. Thank you, Kevin. We got a viewer report of an apparent tornado near Fulton, so we're going to work to get that picture for you. But that was about 15 minutes ago, so that covers that tornado warning here in portions of Whiteside County. So we're going to continue to keep a very close eye.
Milledgeville to Sterling. Sterling,
Yes.
You should be in shelter now. This is getting ready to approach Sterling Rock Falls, heading up I-88. So we've been talking about I-80, I-88 as well. Any of these roads in eastern portions of the viewing area, if you're in the Illinois side, get off. If you know anybody that's traveling, heading to work or school, let them know to shut it down. Let this thing pass through, give it an hour, and then you'll be able to go back out. We're getting a lot of traffic reports of a lot of accidents that occurred as this was moving into the metro. Let's take a look at that picture out of Fulton and what we could see there with that report.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It definitely looks like we had something there.
Doesn't look like your classic tornado, which that's kind of how these sort of tornadoes are in this certain situation. They're very quick spin-ups, might not be that condensation funnel from the ground up, but it certainly does look like that we're picking up on that funnel there on the ground, so that would be a tornado. Luckily, from this vantage point, it does look like it was out in an open field. Hopefully, this was very brief. Right now, there is definitely some rotation indicated in portions of Whiteside and Carroll County, kind of a few spots here along that line. But we're also looking just outside of the viewing area as well. But
yeah,
that certainly does look like an apparent tornado. So we'll get that passed along to the National Weather Service. They're going to be busy here later this morning surveying some of this.
I was going to say, and they have noted that they are sending out survey teams to check out this damage. They're going to be, as you mentioned, very busy with this. But that is the site you're going to see. If we can go back to radar right now, so that is what we're noticing. Those are those tornadoes, what we call quasi-linear, and that's certainly the case here. But we continue this tornado warning specifically here has been updated. But the one thing to note is they say severe squall line capable of producing both tornado and extensive straight line wind damage continues on. So they're continuing with that tornado warning from Milledgeville down towards Sterling Rock Falls, up towards Lanark. Down here, though, we consider, look at that, we still have that observe tag on this particular tornado warning. I'm watching this. Look at this to the northwest of Princeton and to the west of Walnut. So it's moved over the New Bedford area, but specifically right here, I think we need to get this tornado warning extended because Walnut, you're technically not under that tornado warning at this time, but we continue with a pretty notable notch there. This is the same area that we had a confirmed tornado, but look at that. I mean, this area has been, we usually don't see this with these kind of lines where you get one area to kind of be the one that has produced, let's take a look at a live picture of some of the damage. We'll get back to that here in a minute. But this is in Coyne Center, and this is that region that had that could have been a tornado. But certainly, I think at that point that we have trees still standing there, probably some straight line wind damage, but not. We're not on site there, and we can't see all the specifics of what's going on. So, but nonetheless, we definitely have damage. Live reports there of damage in the area. So going back to first alert Doppler radar, because the one thing that I'm concerned with is this is getting ready to cross into Walnut. Regardless of if it's a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning, remember these severe thunderstorm warnings carry those tags that say tornado possible. So notable notch here just to the south of Deer Grove, probably somewhere in this area here just outside of New Bedford. It did move over right over top of New Bedford, but Walnut here. So Walnut about 914, Ohio 923. Those northern Bureau County, southern Lee County wind farms, those will be moving through that area about 930. Van Orn 930, and then probably down the pike here eventually towards areas like Mendota. That is specifically this one area of rotation. The whole line, though, if we back up a little bit here, that whole line has got damaging winds, and right there too here outside of Anawan, picking up some pretty big spikes in the velocity. So this whole area here eventually into Princeton and central Bureau County, that's going to be the main concern here eventually, because this has been the real, as it moved through the metro, this has kind of been the focus. And to the north, too, there's been pockets as well that we've had notable areas of circulation. But yeah, it looks pretty nasty here moving into the Walnut area. So again, I would treat this like a tornado warning. If you're anywhere in Bureau County, also I know we've got viewers down in Putnam County and Stark County as well, you should as well be taking this very seriously. Again, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds with this, but we continue with that observed tornado tag. I'll move out of the way here. You can see that tornado warning continues to be tagged as observed. Let's take a look at some video out of Garden Plain, and this is a perfect example of a quasi-linear. This was 8:42 a.m.
Yeah, it's just to the south and east there of Clinton and Fulton, Illinois. So while it might be small and it might be in a field, this is what we can expect along this entire line here. Yeah. And you can see it may be very brief and it's on the ground for 30 seconds and then it pops back down. We're seeing this along the entire line. I already kind of said this earlier. Iowa counties, you are all clear of any threat of severe weather as this entire line is continuing to march to the east. It's really our eastern viewing area now from Mount Carroll out to Pearl City. You all need to be taking shelter right now. Same goes for Coletta. Sterling, we're getting reports of a shelf cloud right now. Your winds are going to be picking up in the next 10 minutes. Expect some 60 to 65 mile an hour gusts. Same goes for New Bedford, Manlius, as we've been discussing here all morning long. Bishop Hill, you should start to see things wind down here shortly, but from Kewanee down into parts of Altona, Illinois, Watauga, you are certainly in the thick of it right now. But Aledo, you are all clear. You get down to Gladstone, Viola, Matherville, Preemption, Silvis, folks in East Moline that have been reaching out to us. You are all clear now from this round of severe weather. Hillsdale, Erie, things are starting to wind down. So if you live anywhere near the Mississippi River, conditions are much better now. And yes, that was what some of these brief tornadoes have been looking like here. That was Garden Plain 8:42 here this morning.
Still brief, but you know what? I would not want to be underneath one.
No, you do not.
Because we can see, and there are times where even these brief tornadoes, we'll come back to radar here, even these brief tornadoes, they're brief, but they can do extensive damage. So continue to watch here into Bureau County as we continue with a tornado warning for eastern Henry County. I will say this, the circulation portion of this is now into Bureau County. So Henry County, Hoople area down towards Kewanee. Kewanee, you're starting to see that straight line wind damage threat, but we continue to watch this. Princeton to Tiscoa, up towards Malden, Dover, Arlington, let's say up towards Lamoille, into northeastern portions of Bureau County. Heads up because this damaging wind threat is moving through, but yeah, look at that. A couple pockets of rotation continue there. Look at right over New Bedford. There's one, but also heading into Walnut. So, like I said, I would expect to maybe see an extension on that tornado warning here soon. But we continue with that till 9:15. So, nonetheless, we have that tornado warning that continues here for another 5 minutes or so. But severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, let's see. They're going to let that southern tornado warning expire at 9:15. So they are going to let this expire. And that's a good point because it does look like we have maybe a line of outflow, which means that the winds are gusting out of the storm. You still could get some spin ups. Again, treat this like a tornado warning regardless because it doesn't take much to see those spin up as Kevin shared that video there of that. Where was that at, Kevin? That was near Clinton.
In Garden Plain, yeah.
Garden Plain,
so it was just to the east and southeast of Fulton, Illinois.
So central Bureau County, Princeton, down towards Bradford, Tiscoa, you folks, weather's going to start to deteriorate here pretty quickly. Sterling Rock Falls, it's just now starting to get into town. So Sterling Rock Falls, heads up because, yeah, you continue with that tornado warning. Not seeing any prominent circulation up in this vicinity. Been looking at a couple products and not catching anything. But again, the whole deal with this is it doesn't take much. Actually, maybe a little bit there, but a stronger rotation definitely to the south if we are seeing any. But as what's been noted here is we're getting a gust of wind out of this storm. But yeah, right there, that continues to be a concern near the New Bedford area. So again, as we've mentioned, tornado warning continues here for another couple minutes, but we can see these spin up pretty quickly. So hail has not been, as this has moved into the Illinois side, hail hasn't been too much of a concern. And really, I'm not seeing any pockets of hail on this, but if any, maybe some pea-sized hail with this, but we continue with the damaging wind threat. But as it does look like it's moved to the east, it does look like it's starting to, I don't want to say this prematurely, but just from
peter out.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to say it. Is you know, it's just not as robust. When it moved into the metro, it was as razor sharp on that edge, and that's a sign that you got some significant winds, and that's when you get those real beautiful shelf clouds. I mean, it's beautiful to look at, not to be under one. But anyway, we continue with these warnings here, a whole slew of warnings. We got that tornado warning that continues for eastern portions of Whiteside County up into Carroll County here for I think that was till 9:45. Is that correct on that tornado warning there?
Well, we'll zoom in here in 9:30.
9:30. Okay, so about another 15 minutes or so. From what I'm seeing, I think that tornado warning will be allowed to expire. I think the damaging wind threat is certainly going to be the most concerning. Dustin Nolan's got an update at the news desk. And we got some live video. Let's go
I was just going to let you guys know that we have a live look up of 22nd Road and Coit Center Road there, and you can definitely see some damage if we can get it up. This is our chief photographer, Mike Ortiz. He is out there live right now. And again, this is 22nd Street and Coit Center Road, and you can definitely see some damage that's been done from some of these storms here. Ooh. Kyle?
Yeah, and that's where we had that report of a tornado there in Coit Center in Rock Island County at about 8 o'clock. So that was about an hour and 15 minutes ago, as now that storm is into Bureau County around the New Bedford and Walnut area. So quite a bit of damage there to one of those farmsteads. So again, National Weather Service will be out surveying this damage this morning before we get another round of storms here as we head into the afternoon. But that tornado warning here for parts of Bureau and Henry County has been allowed to expire now that we're at 9:15. However, there is still a tornado possible tag, because along this leading edge of the line, we've been getting those kinks of rotation that could indicate the possibility of a tornado. So a tornado is still possible, but we continue with that tornado warning here for another 15 minutes until 9:30. That includes the Sterling Rock Falls area. This includes parts of Whiteside as well as Joe Davies and Carroll County until 9:30. Possibility of some hail as well, but we were looking at the hail product. I have it overlaid here, and there might be some pea-sized hail just to the west of Lanark, but I don't think hail is too much of a concern. And really over the last few frames, you can see on the Doppler radar, as this has moved into the Sterling Rock Falls area, moving into Milledgeville, we have seen some overall weakening of this. So that's obviously some great news. We continue to see that storm move out of the Stockton area and Pleasant Valley area there in Joe Davies County. Galena, you are in the clear now, as is Bellevue, which may have gotten a little bit of hail. But these storms continue to track off to the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Kewaunee, things should start to wind down here pretty shortly, but we're still under the gun for some pretty gusty wind there in Bureau County. So heads up around Princeton, Walnut. You're about ready to get hit with that rain as well. This all is going to continue to track to the east here, again at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So we'll put a track here in Bureau County just to give you all a heads up here. You should already be in your shelter place, but this will be around Walnut here any minute now at 9:19. Bradford 9:23, Princeton just about 9:30, Dover 9:31, Lamoille 9:37, Depew at 9:38, and then Spring Valley just about 9:45.
Yeah, and looking at radar here, it's not as, when we looked at this coming into the metro, it was a sharp, absolute sharp, like almost a line. But now we're seeing this kind of, it's a little ragged. It's not as well defined. Now, one thing to note too is that severe thunderstorm warning that is now in effect, that's been in effect for a while, but is in place here for Bureau County, also up into Whiteside County. And I believe it does include Carroll County as well. Yeah. The good news is we've dropped out of that considerable damage threat now to your standard 60-mile-an-hour winds, maybe some quarter-sized hail with that, but still, you could see damage with that, so don't take it lightly. But we're not seeing the 70 to 80 to, at times, 90-mile-an-hour winds that we were picking up on First Alert Doppler radar anymore as this continues to weaken. Again, the other thing, too, is we look at the lightning. How's the lightning situation? And the lightning certainly looks to be weakening, so we're definitely in a weakening state. But we continue with this line of storms moving through the region here, notably into our eastern counties. We continue with that tornado warning as well.
Yeah, and just with that, we're picking up winds up to about 60, 65 miles per hour, about 4,000 feet off the ground. So even that is showing us that, hey, maybe we're not in that considerable tag like you were just discussing. So, but 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds still enough to do tree damage and anything like that. You still need to take it serious. Sterling Rock Falls area, it is barreling through right now.
Yes.
For folks asking about round 2, if we get some sunshine, we could see another round materialize between 2 and 8 o'clock here tonight. So just sit tight with that. We'll have you covered here throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, and actually looking at radar right now, it looks like out towards the I-35 corridor that we are starting to see some redevelopment, which again, we have to see sunshine and we have to warm back up, because temperatures right now, interestingly enough, 73 in Princeton, but 61 rain-cooled degrees here in the metro, and out to the west too, 60 in Ottumwa. So we've got to see some clearing before we can get the atmosphere to turn back over. But one thing that is concerning is if we do see we do get enough heat and instability to build, what can happen is we got a little bit of we got this front, so ability for storms to fire up, but we got a little bit of shear, and so an isolated tornado threat does exist. Not going to be a widespread deal, as Kevin mentioned, but damaging winds, hail, and another tornado threat will be in place. But we continue with this tornado warning here for about another 10 minutes or so, 11 minutes to be exact, here into so 9:30 if you're watching on our streams, but here into portions of Carroll, Joe Davies, and Whiteside County. Still noted as a little over quarter-sized hail, but I think that hail size has gone down a little bit, which is good because that means the storm is weakening. So we continue with that, but severe thunderstorm warning all up and down this line from Kewaunee up towards Tampico, Sterling Rock Falls, moving through. So what we have got left in the viewing area that you haven't seen anything yet is going to be Princeton and eastern portions of Bureau County, Spring Valley. Again, some of those smaller communities, Lamoille, Bureau Junction, Depew. Let's see, Malden, Dover. Trying to remember all my towns out here, but all these small communities. This is heading down I-80 and heading towards you, eventually towards LaSalle, Peru. I bet you we'll see a downstream warning issued here out into the Chicagoland area momentarily, but they do continue with that tornado possible tag on that, so that is kind of covers here if we do see these spin ups. So still not completely out of the clear, but 60-mile-an-hour winds and maybe a tornado possible. If we do see those spin ups, we'll be able to throw a tornado warning out for that if we do see something notable. But I think here, as this continues to move through the viewing area here, probably 9:30 here when that tornado warning expires and we get into get the storm to move through. The most significant portion of this line will be out of the viewing area, but we'll still be watching that Bureau County area, and then we could probably take it back to programming towards 9:30. Unless we get any new updates or tornado warnings, we'll check in the news desk here shortly with any updates on power outages, because I'm sure those can piling up here as this line has moved through. But it definitely sounds like the most significant portion of this, the most significant damage that's been reported is what has happened in Henry County, Illinois, and also into, unfortunately, the metro. All around the metro, we've had quite a bit of damage reported. So I'm going to throw it over to Dustin Nolan at the news desk with some updates.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Okay, so according to Mid-American Energy, power outages for the Quad City, Illinois side is 4,600 plus, and on the Iowa side is 234. Now, that's according to Mid-American Energy. According to PowerOutages.us, the Rock Island County is at about 5,000 people out. So that's a combination of a couple different power companies. And then Henry County's got 470. So there are a few people without power right now in our Quad Cities area.
Yeah, and that's certainly to be expected. And what we're going to do here, folks, here in Bureau County, we're going to stay with you for another 9 minutes or so. And at 9:30, that's when that tornado warning drops up to the north here. And so what we'll do is we will take it back to programming. We'll cut in if any new warnings are issued, and if there's any new tornado warnings or an upgrade to some of these severe thunderstorm warnings, which at this point, I don't expect, but you never know. It is Mother Nature, and sometimes we could see some quick redevelopment, especially as the suns come out. Again, naturally, the energy is increasing. But what happens with these lines of storms is once we start to see these outflow boundaries and the winds gusting out of the storm, it's a trend that is starting to collapse a little bit. So hopefully that's the case here, but we continue nonetheless with that tornado warning for the eastern portions of Carroll County, eastern portions of Joe Davies County, and also eastern portions of Whiteside County until 9:30 for, again, we're watching maybe some spin-up tornadoes within that section there, but still some strong areas here within this line. Galesburg, you're now through the most significant portion of it. Southeastern portions of Knox County, get ready because you're going to have some of these damaging winds move through, but no warning in that area, so weakening altogether down there. But interesting little cell down there southwest of Keokuk that's almost moving northeast, kind of different, almost separate from this line. So that's interesting. That might actually move up into, maybe make it up into areas like Burlington. But again, what has moved through here, it's the temperature is significantly dropped. So you go from mid-70s out here into eastern portions of the viewing area, say Princeton and Spring Valley up towards Sterling. You go west, we're in the low 60s and in some areas even up to upper 50s. So definitely a big difference in air masses. So to get that afternoon activity to form, what we have to have is we're going to have a lot of sunshine and quickly warm up. So once again, I'm going to see Kyle Keel. Do you have any updates on your
There's been no updates. So thank you to everyone who has been sending in pictures and video. They're very helpful to relay what is going on. And if you have any photos of the damage after these storms pass that you would like to send to us, you can do that at news@kwqc.com. You can also submit those through the KWQC TV6 News app as well as the QC Weather app. We've got some photos there, or an area where you can submit photos there. And you can also send those through our website, kwqc.com. And we'll obviously have updates coming up on Quad Cities today at 11. As well as the TV6 News at noon. But we have not had too many updates. The tornado warning is actually going to be allowed to expire at 9:30, so we'll give it a couple more minutes here, and we'll get off the air. But the tornado warning is allowed to expire here for portions of Carroll, Joe Davies, and Whiteside County at 9:30 because we have seen a significant weakening of the storm. In fact, that line is kind of broken apart, which is obviously some great news. We're likely not getting those 60-mile-per-hour winds. Certainly not going to get the hail above quarter size, so that's the good news. But we just want to thank everyone who's stuck with us here the last couple hours.
Indeed, and we really appreciate it. Getting some pictures out of Bureau County from some people on Facebook, and as Kyle mentioned, we thank you for doing that. It definitely helps. We'll share some of those here throughout the day, but what we're noticing is this shelf cloud as we saw it move into the metro, and we've seen a lot of pictures of that thing. Now getting ready to move here into central portions of Bureau County, but notably, it definitely is weakening pretty rapidly here into Bureau County. You're not seeing those well-defined, that well-defined line. It's more of a broken line. And looking at another product here, it just doesn't look as strong on the velocity either, which is great news. Nonetheless, a nasty storm getting ready to move into the Bureau County, or into Princeton, Tiscua, and up the pike here and towards Ohio. So get ready for some heavy rain, lots of lightning as well. Still quite a bit of lightning with this, but even that has gone down a little bit. So lightning still a concern though, but we continue with maybe winds up to 60 miles an hour, and that severe thunderstorm warning I'm sure will continue on here until the time on that was, I believe, 9.
Yeah, it looks like 9:30 as well.
That.
So we'll see if that gets extended as well. But even that part of the line looks like it's weakening as well. As you noted, Kyle, we're seeing a lot less in the way of lightning with these, which is also an indicator that these are weakening as they move off to the east. But we'll continue to have to watch this line. And again, behind that, we're starting to see some redevelopment of some storms near that I-35 corridor in central Iowa. If we get some sunshine, just be on guard for those storms to redevelop. We're going to wait for this line to get through. We'll kind of reevaluate things and have an update on our first alert day for this afternoon for the potential redevelopment of these storms. But, you know, as expected, these have packed quite a punch as they have moved through the TV6 viewing area this morning. We're getting several reports of damage west of the Quad Cities out toward the Iowa City area, some flooding issues there. We've had reports of some damage in Bettendorf, of course, Coyne Center. We continue to get several photos and videos as that tornado tore through. Again, that was the first indication that we had a tornado at about 8 o'clock, and definitely getting some pretty powerful video that hopefully we will bring you here on our newscast a little bit later today. Also, Coyne Center, definitely one of the harder hit areas as we can tell for right now.
Yeah, and I've got one that I just threw over into our Slack channel, so letting our control room know of that tornado that we were talking about near Hoople. We got a picture of that. So definitely, and it was just same deal as what we've seen all up and down that line. We saw that tornado that was near Clinton area. I think it was Garden Plain. Was that correct, Kevin?
Yeah,
I believe that's exactly
okay.
Where we saw that video of that tornado. That's what it looks like with all these tornado reports. So definitely a situation that was a very significant situation for many as this moved through, and that's why these lines of storms that move through, they can go either way. Once they do develop and move in, they can either weaken out before they even get here, or what we saw actually probably between, I'd say, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, off into the metro and just to the east. That's probably where the most significant portion of this line was. We did have tornado warnings all night long out towards Des Moines as well. So unfortunately, areas that are picking up from those devastating tornadoes that occurred on Tuesday. And same here. We had areas that saw extensive damage up in Maquoketa up towards Bellevue into Wilton and portions of the viewing area here. So unfortunately, more severe weather is possible throughout the weekend, but we continue with this tornado warning till
9:30, and they're allowing that to expire. We're going to expire the severe thunderstorm warning as well for Eastern Bureau County here at 9:30.
Yeah,
so
and
we'll be wrapping this up here shortly.
And we want to mention as well, we've been getting several viewer reports of some puddling on roadways. So this heavy rain, even behind this main line of storms, has been leading to some ponding on the roadways, some spotty areas of flooding. flooding. So just be cautious as you're heading out behind these storms, maybe to work, maybe you're getting a late start to the day. There's certainly going to be some ponding on the roadways. So we're going to stick with you here for the next couple of minutes. Luckily, we've seen a weakening trend in this line of storms, but we still continue with that rain even out towards Tipton and Bennett.
Yeah, that pool of heavy rainfall, and still seeing some lightning in there too. So within that region there, that's moving through. But now Iowa City up towards Anamosa starting to clear out of that. So again, eastern portion, central eastern Bureau County, I think this is moving through pretty much cleared or just on the edge of the eastern portion of Sterling Rock Falls, now moving into Lee County and Ogle County, Illinois. Stevenson County now seeing the most significant portion of that. So Galena over towards Savannah. The severe threat's over, but we still continue with that rain and lightning threat as well. So once we see these warning boxes drop off here, we will take it back to the Today Show. That is ongoing right now. But again, stay with us throughout the day because we might see some rejuvenation of if we can get enough instability, if we can get some of that thunderstorm energy to build, we will see some thunderstorm chances this afternoon. Not as widespread as this, but again, it's going to be one of those deals where it's just going to be based off of how much heating can we get. So we'll watch for that. But nonetheless, we continue with a significant storms here into eastern portions of the TV6 viewing area. We've hit 9:30, and you can see warning boxes are starting to drop off here. Now we've moved those out of the viewing area. So lots of reports of damage. We'll continue to update you throughout the day online and on air, of course, as well, coming up on Quad Cities Today at 11 and your news at noon. We'll take it back to the Today Show.
But with care, you can keep chasing it. That's Tylenol. That's care without limits.
This is going viral. But you know what should go viral? The fact that Kelly Blue Book My Wallet on Auto Trader gives you personalized monthly payments before you buy. Toss us a like.
So what's the code?
It says 547.
Well, that's not working.
Dad really needs to pee.
We're gonna get in a minute, okay?
It's not open.
Well, I'll call.
Representative.
Speak with a person.
You're a valued customer.
Representative. We can go in the window.
Just a moment, Dad.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo. When other vacation rentals leave you hanging, try one where you can reach a human in about a minute.
My frequent heartburn had me taking antacid after antacid all day long. But with Prilosec OTC, just one pill a day blocks heartburn for a full 24 hours. For one-and-done heartburn relief, Prilosec OTC, one pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn.
Welcome to the Waiverhood. With Wayfair, finding your style is fun.
Again, when the music stops, grab me the chair. Doesn't matter if it's your outdoor style or not.
I'm sorry, Carl. This is me in chair form.
I don't see it.
Oh, come on. This one's perfect for you, but you love it.
I told you we should have done a piñata.
I explained it so many times.
They're not sitting. You need to sit down.